Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Ashes Wednesday. If you haven't been with us before on a Wednesday, this is Ashes Reborn, a game made by Plaid Hat. We partner with them through the PDP system, player-driven production.
Hey, it's worth noting too, actually, on the note, there's probably a lot, well, not a lot. There's probably some people here who are new to the game because I see comments. I check the Facebook and YouTube comments. And
Oh,
all
you
that.
actually do that?
Yeah, I just don't just check off the task. I actually do that sometimes,
cool.
about once a month, and I've found that there's a lot of people that leave comments on like previous videos and or just in Twitter and that space.
Interwebs.
Just got my Ashes Reborn core set. Just started playing Ashes. Just saw this video. I'm diving into Ashes. I'm getting into Ashes.
I do see
Ashes,
that
Ashes,
often.
Ashes.
Like,
So if you're
quite
that,
often.
welcome everybody. Nice pop too. Well done.
Oh, the
production team.
Reborn,
there it is. Ashes Reborn. The
box.
upgrade kit. Just a
Yeah.
little
So if you're
shout out.
unfamiliar, this is a game that was originally published in 2015, I believe, by Plaid Hat Games. Published for a couple years, went away. We brought it back. It's called Ashes Reborn now, and it's phenomenal. One of the lead playtesters from the first version of the game is now the lead developer. He's done an incredible job. That entire team's done an incredible job. Beautiful art. So if you're new, welcome. If you have questions, let us know. There's a ton of content we've posted. Also, Rodney over at Watch It Play did a how to play. That's a great place to start if you are new. And if you've been following along our saga, I'm here to make an Iron Rhino disappear. That's my number one goal.
Did you see our old buddy Noxious was interested in Ashes?
I didn't.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
On Twitter. I was like, oh, this looks interesting. I should check this out. I was like, yeah.
It is a interesting looking and great game.
You should.
What was I getting ready to say? Oh, hey, something that was kind of revolutionary for people that didn't otherwise know. Last week we announced our Ashes Armory not Armory, that's Flesh and Blood. Our Ashes quarterly Discord League, which is happening over webcam on Wednesday nights starting in June. And the sign up for that is coming to an end in the not super distant future. I think like next week is the week we would start
It should be about
charging.
next week we can have.
So if you want to get in on that, I would recommend checking that out. There's a product on our website that shows it, and the promos and how it works and all that. If you have questions, let us know.
Totally open to new players.
But I want to go ahead and pull up that Gilder for a couple of reasons. One, I just am happy every time I see that card. These promos, I've seen some questions coming through, and I think we're going to talk about this a little more at length on the podcast about the league and all that kind of stuff this week. But these are alt art cards that you would otherwise get normal versions of. Because if we can pop the other Gilder real quick, the OG, the one you would get in the core set, the master
Look
set.
at this. You put them through their paces.
There it is.
Yeah.
So it's the same card. You don't need it to play. It is an alternate version, and the only way you're going to be able to get that is through participation in this online league. Of note, these cards, the expectation, it makes sense for people that played the old game, was that these promos were going to be made like previous promos were made for the game, which is kind of an on-demand. Let me see if I have any of this. I think I have.
Should we say that they're exclusively through the league? We kind of talked about maybe we should do that. Like maybe one day a year from now we'll give them away at a Covenant event or something. You know.
It's exclusively through us as far as I know.
Yeah, currently, yeah. Nobody else is paid to have them printed.
Yeah, that's a different tale for another time. Anyways, this is an old. Can you give me a top down real quick?
Yeah, I'll do that.
This is an old Rose Fire Dancer promo, which is actually, it still works because it's the same stat lines.
Right on.
And it looks great. It's a great looking card. But it's probably harder to tell, but like you can tell here.
Oh, there is actually a slight, yeah, you can tell. You can see that.
There's a pretty big difference in terms of just like the print quality. You can feel it. You tell me how that feels to you, the card difference. The print on demand is like a less, it's like a...
I'm a simple man.
It's a different kind of material. It's not as nice. And then the print is also like not as clear because
true.
these are made on demand, which is a like kind of short form printing method. But the promos that we're going to be offering are not made that way. They're going to be made in the same way that the standard Ashes cards are. They're going to look and feel just like that. Because I know one of the promos in that first kit is the alt Saria.
Yeah.
So her stat line also hasn't changed. And that was a promo they'd actually previously done.
Yeah.
Like in the first thing. But the older version of the promo was done in the kind of print-on-demand style.
Print-on-demand style, which you can tell.
Which ours will not be. There were a lot of people on the Ashes Discord that were very excited to learn that fact.
Oh, good.
It was just,
they're actual cards.
Yeah, it was obvious to me.
It's a real
and then
print
they were
run
like,
of
oh my
cards.
goodness.
That's why it costs the cash.
That's right.
Yeah, and it's worth noting. So this is a 3-week enterprise or 3-month enterprise for us to run it once a week and manage the league and pair everybody up and make sure people get dropped and counted and stuff. And we got to pay people to do that. So
Yep.
it's $30 for 3 months.
Yep.
Which we think is pretty reasonable. $10 a month to play in the league, get 4 games, and get some promos. So
and I'll also
enjoy it.
say I've seen a lot of people on our Discord. If you're not a part of that Discord, you should check it out. But a lot of people on there are getting set up for the first time on
Webcams, yeah.
and also very new to Ashes.
Yeah.
And there was concern like, hey, if I haven't really played that much, should I sign up for this thing? The entire intent of this league is to give ready, easy access for players to meet other players, to play with physical cards, and to get regular games in. So we highly encourage new people to take part. We've been running a Flesh and Blood league online, and I've seen nothing but really positive feedback from new players learning how to play, happy that they decided to make the leap and dive into something like this. So everyone is welcome, from previous world champion type players all the way to if you just now are buying the master set.
And on that note, a really good suggestion there. You can either just use the pre-constructed decks that come built for your favorite Phoenixborn, or that reconstructed series that they've been doing on the Plaid Hat website. It is basically taking that and kind of leveling it up. So if you're just looking for a deck to run, to have something to play and kind of learn the concepts, the fundamentals, that's a good series to look at, where you can see how the deck should play, and you can kind of get some notes from the designers of those decks, and then put them on the table and not have to worry about the deck building aspect, which is remarkably open in Ashes. That you should not be you should not feel bad about yourself if you feel overwhelmed by the deck building. Zach and I have been building things with cards for nearly 1,000 years now, and even coming into Ashes is like there's just so many options until you get further into it enough to realize that you kind of do have this separation of all the different card pools, and it's actually not quite as overwhelming. But looking at it for the first time is very very overwhelming, so that's not a weird way to feel about it.
For sure. And if you're looking for specific decks around specific Phoenixborn, there's a community-built deck builder, ashes.live, I think is the address for it. And there's tons of decks you can find there, and you can just build straight up. And a lot of times they'll include like notes on what they recommend, first 5, and that kind of thing. But that's another just great resource. And I've seen a lot of people too, the community-led effort over on the Ashes Discord for the first 5 Fridays.
Love the first 5.
People hanging out, and it's totally free and it's super casual.
Is that TTS?
It's everything. So they've now
else?
expanded to, there's TTS, there's Ash Techie, and there's webcam.
And webcam, cool.
So anyone wanting to test the webcam setup and try and meet new people, even before our league starts, that's a really great place to do it. Apparently they've been having an uptick in people using webcams to play games, which I love, because I've played TTS. I've played the gentechie.net for Old Netrunner, and there's just something different about holding the physical cards.
Yeah, it's important.
Even the interaction with the other person when you're playing and both people aren't looking at the screen. Like it's just there's something different about everything about the experience. If you haven't tried it, I recommend it. There's a bunch of videos getting posted in our Discord channel about how to set up and that kind of stuff. It's really not that laborious.
Yeah, you nailed it.
All right.
That is the appropriate word for that.
Sometimes I use words by feel, and it's like, I hope that's right. And it's not that expensive. We're talking tens of dollars for an okay enough webcam. There's also apps you can use your phone or an iPad.
Use your
or whatever,
phone as a webcam, yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be a great time, and I'm really excited about it. Plus, there's some beautiful looking cards.
Christian, it is webcam only. You are correct. And Noxious in the chat here. We were just talking about you earlier. Glad you followed up on the tweet. I saw that you tweeted wondering about the game. So we're about to dive into it, and you can kind of see how it goes. Zach, you ready?
On that note, yes.
Yeah, let's go to the top down.
I got my beautiful archive here.
And you're currently trying to overcome a deck that I built a long time ago that we think may be the best deck ever made. Is that fair to say?
So if you remember in the earlier chapters of the Rhino saga, so there's this card called the Iron Rhino. Hallmark card. It was printed the first edition of the game, and it got updated, and it's actually way better now. It was a little too costly for what you were getting in first edition, and you were playing that early on, and to me, it's a nice hurdle that every deck kind of has to get past.
Yeah.
Which is this giant threatening unit, right?
Yeah.
And I think the more I play Ashes, the more I realize it's like you have to have a way to deal with a swarm. You have to have a way to deal with a giant threat. Just period. You need to be able to do that, otherwise you're just going to lose to certain decks. So back when I was playing like Odette and Maoni against you, I had to actually adjust those decks to be able to handle a giant unit. And I did, and at first you were wrecking me, and then by the end I was able to beat you.
That's right.
And then Brennan had a really nice time against the Rhino.
Brennan can wreck the Rhino.
Yeah, that's right. So those decks is cool. I feel like I have like a catalog of decks I'm building out. And last week I was playing Jericho, which is the Phoenixborn coming out in the next release. Hasn't charged, hasn't shipped yet. So if you haven't signed up for subscription, you want to get that, now is the time, because that's also coming up. But I was playing her the first time. I think she's easily one of the best Phoenixborn in the game.
Yep.
Like her ability to, on her card, to go get a card and put it on top of your deck, unbelievable.
That's one of the, and isn't it nicely balanced? You know, I really like that Nick has done it like this, where you're restricted in that you do have to still find a way to draw that card if you want to use it on the turn that it comes in. So like it would have been really easy to have an ability that just goes and gets a card, but tying it into a central mechanic on one of the dice types like Sympathy Magic and the creatures that they can summon is really spot on, and I think that's a really good way to do it.
But I do think because she can go get any tool in her deck, right? She's actually got a weirdly high skill ceiling.
There's just so much potential.
A good player with a Jericho deck, I think, is going to be devastatingly good.
Yeah.
Because you're basically removing the only other random thing in the game, which is after that first turn, what are you drawing?
Yeah.
And she can make sure that's either on top or go ahead and forcibly draw it on the same turn. But I had built Jericho and Victoria, which you played her a couple months ago.
Yeah. You're building it pretty similar to the way I was,
apparently,
I think, right?
Victoria, I don't know. With Jericho, I was doing the horses.
Victoria, did you do the body inversion and that kind of stuff?
I don't think so.
Still have like terrible memories about that card. You just like look at it and then it disappears. You throw it out
when I look at body inversion, there's just a little vomit that occurs. Now, that was another thing. So I was running Mayoni and Odette, and I like these like crazy units, right? Like the Dread Wraith. Low attack, big health, gets really strong over time and has this big swing. And body inversion just nukes that strategy out of the sky. But so I was doing the the steeds, the spectral steeds.
That's right.
In Jericho, which there's a lot going on, right?
It was split though between the steeds and the horses.
The what are those called? Right here.
Death.
Squall Stallions.
Squall Stallions.
Yeah.
Both of those respectively are very good units, but we didn't feel like you had the bandwidth to run them both.
Yeah. I made some tweaks for that very reason. And they're all horses, so I thought this makes sense. Like I gotta what do we call it? A team of horses?
I love the deck building concept. They're all horses, so it must work.
I mean, for me, Ashes is this like beautiful game that the theme is half of and the art is half of why I'm here.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's where like I was just, you start grabbing stuff and you buy magic type and then you're looking at art and you're like, that seems like it fits. Even with my Victoria deck, a lot of cards, it was like, that seems like it should be in Victoria. So let's put it in the stack.
Deck build
but I will say,
man.
as someone who liked Victoria, and my plan is to play the updated Jericho deck and also the Victoria deck. I'm going to start with Jericho because I just want to see.
If you got to have the challenge.
But apparently when you were gone, I built those two decks, Victoria and Jericho. And whilst you were gone, I learned that the community believes that Victoria is one of the worst Phoenixborn in the game.
I could see that.
And I was not having it.
What's her ability? Her ability is not immediately or maybe ever appreciable, but her unique card is super good, isn't it? As I remember, isn't the
Copycat?
Is that like the do something that somebody just did to you?
Yeah. The problem with her is that both her ability and her signature card are not 100% happening.
Sure.
So like every time you use Jericho's ability, that thing is happening.
Right.
And every time you use her signature card, which is Blink, it's working.
Yeah.
It's doing its thing.
And it does it in any way you need it to.
Whereas Victoria, you can re-roll a bunch of dice, but like you might re-roll them into the same thing, and you into worse dice. And so like this, to me, Victoria is the kind of card someone plays when they aren't afraid of risk, which I love. Like that's why I saw the new Victoria and I was like, I'm into this.
I mean, it's kind of like there's a little bit of a Harley Quinn vibe going on there, is there not?
Totally,
you know, so it's kind of like
which
that.
I'm not against.
A little randomness, you know?
Yeah. I'm not against. Don't look. I'm figuring out my opening 5.
All right, so there are some new players here, and I know Noxious, I know you're checking it out, and we'd love to give you a good idea of how this one plays. So, following up on what we were talking about on Twitter, you start out, you choose a Phoenixborn. Phoenixborn has health stats, battlefield, and spellboard stats. So if I pull up like Rin Northfell here, who I'm playing, a lot of great Phoenixborn in the game, and so you kind of you choose your hero to start. Battlefield is the number of things that you can play onto the board at any given time. So my battlefield here is 6. That means I can have 6 units across my battlefield. I really like this mechanic because it prevents these really massive board states where everybody's got 20 things on the board and nobody knows how the math could ever work out. So Battlefield 6 is pretty big. This is one of the bigger battlefields that you'll see. So I can have 6 things out. My spell board is 4, which means I can have 4 static spells out. Those go on your spell board, the little spell books. So you kind of learn spells throughout the game, and then that allows you to cast things over the course of the game. And then every Phoenixborn has an ability too, and Rin's here is an ice buff, so I can take a side action and actually put an ice buff on a creature that's already out. Then we've also got here, this is a pile of conjurations. These actually stay outside of the game area, and they are brought in solely by conjuration spells. So you can bring these in, and if they leave play, they go back out in the conjuration pile and then come right back in. So this is one of the things about the game to me that makes it feel really magical, that you're conjuring things that are literally coming from nowhere and returning to nothing. So rather than going to a discard pile or having a heft to them, they're just magic that you're bringing into existence and it's blinking out of existence. So those don't go in your deck. Those are just come with essentially your conjuration spells. And then we got a deck of 30 cards. And one of the most important things about Ashes is you choose your first 5 cards in your hand. So at the start of the game, I think we reveal Phoenixborn, right?
Yeah, I think you reveal Phoenixborn and your dice.
Phoenixborn and dice, and then we literally go through our deck and we choose the first 5 cards. And this is an entire game within the game of Ashes. I was talking to somebody in our Discord that was literally having an hour-long conversation about what first 5 to bring, because the way that the tournament was structured, it was open deck lists. So you saw the deck list of the person that you were going to be playing. And it was like, well, okay, so you have like a week to figure out your first 5 against their deck list, really, and they have a week to figure for their first 5 against yours. So that's a beautiful thing about the game. You can get your engines up and running from the very beginning with your first 5. And I'm running a kind of like a one big unit deck. I'm sure there's a name for that in Magic and other games that Zach and I didn't play as much, but
I think they call that Beepertons.
Zach's Beefy Boys.
That's right.
One big unit.
I still need a t-shirt.
And my goal with this big unit is the Iron Rhino. It was kind of the kids call it a meme unit. Did you know that? And the meme is like now a new term for a lot of different things. Like anything that's kind of a joke is just called it. Anyway, so it was really bad in the first edition of the game. And so the second edition came around, it got better. And I was like, I want to build a deck around that. And the way that the deck wants to function is it wants to, have the Rhino as a threat, but then also use the Rhino as a secondary threat if they are able to control it. So it's a pretty classic, kind of game theory about, well, you just have to plan on your opponent being good enough to not let you do the thing that you want to do. So what do you do if they do take away the thing that you want to do? And in this case, one of the big plays I have is Exhortation. And this is a spell that allows me to choose 2 units, and I add their attack values to each other as a side action. So like even if the Rhino's exhausted, locked down, etc., I can have a little weenie unit over here that suddenly gets the Rhino's strength added to it and swings in for a big number. So that's one of the big plays that I have in the deck. I also have cards like Seeds of Aggression, where even if the Rhino is exhausted, I can use Seeds of Aggression to do its damage somewhere. So basically, like, control me. Hopefully, I can win anyway. Don't control me. I should be able to walk all over you.
Yeah.
What's the idea of your Jericho deck there?
So it started with looking at Jericho's ability, which is you can spend a hourglass on your time dice to search the deck, put a card on top of your deck. Now, technically, you can spend a horse, which is the charm magic type, and draw a card immediately. So I could get it on any given turn that I do it. But really, I'm using that to focus my main spell, which is Summon Ghostly Mount, another card that I've been looking to play since forever.
Love it. I'm glad you're getting a chance to play it too. I've been looking to explore it.
This is a really unique summon spell, because normally, like Steven has that Summon Iron Rhino, it can only ever summon an Iron Rhino. But mine can potentially summon 3 different units. The most insane version being the Nightmare Mount. But essentially, if you look at Summon Ghostly Mount on the bottom, it says Focus 2. So if I get 3 copies of this spell out, I can use it 3 times around. So I could summon all 3 horses every round at that point. But most importantly, it means that I can summon any of these 3 horses. You start out and you can summon these 2, and then eventually you can get the big
and the allies got to ride them too, which is cool.
And so really it's about making use of the fact that I can maybe realistically get to this point by turn 3, or maybe even turn 2. But the reality of I'm just using this to get that on top of my deck so that I draw into it on the second turn and I can focus it immediately. Then I can summon 2 horses around. And it's kind of cool because you have to have an ally out to summon these guys. But the ally goes under, and when it would be destroyed, the ally goes back to your hand. So you kind of always have this flow of allies.
Yeah.
And in particular...
So some would say enters play effects would be important for allies that come back to your hand and can potentially be played
exactly again. Right. Yeah. So as an example, the Anchornaut is a great little ally. It comes into play, does a damage to something. And the ally has to be unfocused for you to summon one of these mounts. So you don't want an ability you have to use on the ally in order to do it. The other probably most notable thing about both Jericho and these steeds is that the summon spell, you can actually use a side action to summon these guys. So that means a few things.
That's super big, man.
Yeah, you can side action and immediately attack with them, which is not common. Also, one of the key cards in the time expansion for Jericho is Accelerate, which is a side action, spend a time dice, and then it's draw a card. Change 2 dice in your active pool to sides of your choice, then take 2 additional side actions.
That's incredible.
So I could potentially play this, drop 2 mounts.
That's awesome.
And swing.
Awesome.
Or, as an example, play this, and I kind of have a side action package here. So there's a handful of really good side action cards I have. Like Adrenaline Rush, I can deal damage to something and unfocus it.
I like this. This is better.
Well, I had this stuff in the background last time. You just weren't seeing it because I was spinning all my dice to do my thing.
Trampling.
And then there's another one. Blink is her signature card. So I can basically, like, if I play this and have this going, it's like summon something, unfocus another thing, and get rid of your best unit. Attack.
Yeah.
So I should be fast at some point, and we'll see.
Yeah, let's take a look. I'm excited about it. Real question though, do you want to become famous?
I do. Thank you, Amr.
Yeah, you can buy viewers, you know.
Well, Amr's going to be famous on our block list.
We wouldn't be here doing this if we wanted to be famous, Omar View.
Yeah, I'd be doing TikToks. All right, that's what the kids call them.
Yeah, we'd be doing some TikToks and prank videos.
This TikTok slaps. They're using slaps for things that aren't like beats or music, you know?
I like that we're old now. That's
Yeah.
kind of cool. It's kind of fun to be so self-aware that you can be old and also make fun of your oldness.
Yeah.
That's something my folks weren't able to do.
They
just got old.
Yeah.
But they weren't aware of their oldness, you know?
Yeah. I wonder why that is.
Because they're boomers. Because they think the whole world revolves around them. You know what I mean?
They are the greatest generation. No, they're the kids of the greatest generation.
I mean, actually, so Dad explained it to me. He was like, listen, when you hear that kind of stuff, it's technically completely correct. Because all of at least the American economy revolved around this giant block of people, and they have had everything kind of pointed at them from 0 to 80.
Whereas like now we recognize that a commercial might be aimed at us or the boomers.
Any number of other people.
Yeah,
that's right.
Mainly the boomers.
But it makes sense if you're marketing something. It's like we got to hit the 56% of
every
the country.
Movie,
right?
every piece of content is all aimed at you.
Right.
Torres, this is a good question. Says about the league. They be streamed somewhere. It's possible some people in our Fab League have been streaming their games. But more importantly, it says, do you have to be participating to watch, or is it just for people playing? So it happens on our Discord channel. If you're on our Discord channel, you can scroll down and look at the tables. You can click. You can watch any game. Just make sure you're muted and your video's off so that you're not distracting the people that are actually playing. But yeah, you're welcome to hang out and watch. And you know, typically with Fab at least, people hang out afterwards. Like there's a bunch of people playing at the same time, and then they'll hang out afterwards, kind of a whole night. So even if you get there late or something weird, you can usually find people to play if you want to get in and play some games.
Shah Quran saying, I just want to say I've been going through the videos and loving them, guys. Well, thank you, Shah, so much. Auxerador asking, can we combine shipping, subscriptions, etc.? We cannot do that, Auxerador. We would love to be able to offer that, but you know, different timelines, different shipping, and different systems for those things to flow through. We just don't combine anything subscription related currently.
Yeah, it gets complicated fast.
You ready?
I am ready.
All right, so we start the game by rolling our dice. Whoever has the most basic symbols.
I like what I'm seeing.
Which is the lowest symbol of a die. Oh yeah, we got drinks. Yes, it is Wednesday. I forgot it's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday. Thank you so much, Robert.
Thank you. Oh, that looks daiquiri-ish.
Enjoy.
I love daiquiris.
That's what it is.
Yay.
Love it.
That's great. I was going to make one of those tonight.
My friend, I'm
a lime
yet.
dropper.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to all of you, Ashes.
For anyone new and wondering why we're drinking on a Wednesday afternoon, besides enjoying our lives, we are working on what we call 3.0 of our local store. part of that is going to be cocktail service, and we have ops watching us because it's training and all that kind of stuff.
Very nice. Dial down the sweetness on that.
Training the team, and Steven and I, of course, bearing the burden of being the taste testers of these drinks. And it's a hard job. Someone must do it, though.
Yeah, I guess.
Is that your role?
We got to play these games on camera and test the drinks. It's really, I don't know.
I have 5. Do you have 5?
I've only got a few months left of this. I have 3 basic symbols.
So I go first.
Yeah.
Because my roll was so bad.
Technically, Zach is at the disadvantage because he has slightly worse dice than me. So that means he gets the option of picking whether he wants to go first or second.
I like your phrasing of that.
Yeah, so like that's the cool thing about Ashes. You kind of have to keep in mind bad dice or dice on symbols that are not going to help you are just slightly slower for you to get your game plan going, but you can still get it going. So it's not completely like a say no mechanic. It's more of like you just have to manage your dice over time so that they come up to the symbols that you want. And that can be really important for the interplay of how Zach and I are going to interact with each other, particularly when he's on illusion dice that can change my dice down. If he knows certain power sides are important to my game plan and knows that they're important to my faction, he can then, of course, make sure that I don't have those dice showing whenever he's making his attack. You got your Ashes tokens?
Oh,
or Arcane tokens?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
All right. You want to brush your... Oh, wait, you got it. You haven't drank it yet.
Yeah, not there yet. Well, I'm to brush my teeth.
Anyone have any questions about Ashes? Of course, happy to answer them while we're here on the stream. I'll do a quick little kind of mini tutorial of how this goes. So important to know, every die has what's called a basic symbol. And I always get this wrong. There are actually 2 basic symbols on a die. So 2 of the lowest side, and they look the same across all of the dice. Then you have what's called a class symbol. And every class symbol, every die type or magic type has a class symbol that is unique. So sympathy die have the music note. I gotta remember this is on a basic. And then like charm dice has the heart is their class side. So that's kind of your medium, working side. That's like your bread and butter. And then your power side, there's only one of those per die. So like charm has a snake as its power side. They're all animal based. Sympathy has a horse, and then nature has a frog. And so the more powerful cards in our decks are going to be powered by these higher die types. And throughout the game, a key mechanic is you have to meditate to get those dice to the sides that you need. And meditating is usually discarding cards from your deck to get those dice where you need them. And what that does is it kind of puts the game on a clock where eventually we will run out of cards if we get stuck and the board state gets kind of clogged. And then at that point, every time you would draw a card, you take a damage. So mill is baked into the fundamentals of the game. And it means that no matter whether you're attacking or playing heavy defense or doing mill directly, that there's always a win condition for both players. And it is that your opponent runs out of deck, and that equates to them starting to take damage. And I love this mechanic because it means that the entire game of Ashes revolves entirely around damage. So you have to do the damage to your Phoenixborn to win. Sometimes that's through cards they can't draw, sometimes it's through creature attacks, sometimes it's through direct damage effects, etc.
Some good questions coming in. This is a good QA questions. Noxious saying, how much deck building freedom is there on a scale of Magic to Flesh
Unbelievable. It's almost entire, I would say.
It's interesting because like...
Way more than Fab. Fab is very siloed into its classes.
It's kind of the opposite, which is most cards are playable with almost any Phoenixborn. You don't have to include the signature cards. I saw someone ask that. Looks like Funkolo.
If you're not, though, you have to really ask why you're running that Phoenixborn. Really ask. Now,
yeah, the ability might...
Pro players,
But that said, and I've seen people get really intimidated by deck building in general. But the reality is once you pick a Phoenixborn and like 2 magic types, the number of cards that can actually go in your deck at this point is not extensive. Like each kind of card, like allies, there's only like 5 to 8 that are of, like let's say you're playing Illusion Charm. There's only so many that even fit that category. So a lot of times what I will do when I'm deck building is pick a Phoenixborn, figure out a card I want to play that like Jericho has she needs time dice. And then I find whatever other card I'm keying off of. Then I choose my magic types. And then there's only so many cards you can possibly put in the deck. So it's both wider and also smaller once you start honing in.
I mean, and the crazy thing is like, a vast number of cards in the game require 1 die to play. So like if you wanted a specific card that you didn't want to run any other magic types, you could run literally 1 you know, I could run one of the divine die, one of the ceremonial, and this is my dice pool. And these are just here to power one or two cards that have that symbol in the deck. So you can go full rainbow on this if you wanted to and have access to literally every card in the game. I think almost every card in the game. If you could do 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. You could do 2 of every die type, and then now time is the seventh. So you're just shy. You could do 5 die schools at 2 dice apiece, technically.
And that would be most
like 90% of cards.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I rolled worse. I will have you go first.
And somebody said I think I was totally basic blind here. I also have 5.
So we re-roll.
Roll them again?
Oh man, I just worked out my meditation die math.
Unless I changed it while I was like looking at
the symbols.
The symbols.
5 again.
Oh, there we go. I got 2. Okay. And you chose me to go first?
Yeah. And I'm gonna have to redo all my die math.
We're zoomed out quite a bit here. We get to really experience that. Do you want to zoom in?
That's up to you.
I don't know. It's kind of nice.
How does stream chat feel? Normally we're a little closer to the cards.
If you're watching on your phone, you're doomed. Well, I'm the first time I'm going to take my first action because I know what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, let's boogie, right?
Yep.
Oh, this is a Bugatti turn here. Summon Iron Rhino, I'm going to play this Conjuration. It says Ready Spell Spellboard on it, so it's going to go in this bottom row with my Phoenixborn. And I'm going to be able to build out to 4 spells because I have a spell board of 4. So now this is on the board. It costs me 1 dice, so I move this to my kind of used side of the Phoenixborn. And now moving forward, on my next action, I can start to use any spells that are here in my spell books onto the board. So that's exciting. That's my main action, and there's a symbol that denotes that up there in the top right of the card, Summon Iron Rhino. And then I'm going to take a side action. You get 1 main action, 1 side action. My side action is going to be to play Resonance. It's cost me 2 music notes and 1 basic. So I'll do that here. And it says it comes into play, select 2 dice in your exhausted pool and place them into your active pool on the sides of your choice. So I'm going to go ahead and put them both into Frogland. And then when you play this spell, place it face up under a ready spell on your spell board. It's considered focused 1, essentially. So this is now technically a focused Iron Rhino. And you notice Summon Iron Rhino, the spell says, focus 1, reduce the activation cost of this spell by 1. So I can now play this for 5 basic symbols instead of 6, which is exciting.
Okay, mine?
Yeah.
I'm going to meditate. The worst. Meditate.
That would be cool. Shot. We actually worked. I think we tried to do a little bit of the transparency on the
this cam.
Face cam. We might go back. We might go back to that.
That's funny.
That would be cool. Like we're ghosts. Like yeah.
Let's go ahead and meditate 1 more.
So Zach taking a side action and meditate. So when you take the meditate side action, you can do any number of dice. You can discard cards from your deck, from your board, or from your hand to change a die to any side.
Then I'll play a Summon Ghostly Mount using a basic.
So here's an interesting thing for me. I feel like right now, I could literally summon Iron Rhino right now and just put it on the board, and Zach would then have to basically like figure it out, deal with it. And if you don't deal with it on your next turn, you got problems. But I could also not and just keep playing feel it out, try to understand where his deck's going before committing, especially because it takes 5 of my dice to do this. And showing like 3 frogs is really important because if he plays a 1 health ally that he wants to put his Ghostly Mount on, I can smoke it right off the board. He might have to waste some illusion dice to get me off of that. So I'm not going to waste my time with the Iron Rhino just yet. I will, however, play a Beast Tamer ally from hand.
You're going to be doing that for years.
I love this thing.
It's just like, Beast Tamer.
I love these things, man.
All right. Well.
Beast Tamer in the house. Allies are similar to conjurations, except that they are living, breathing things. And so when they leave the board, they go to the discard pile rather than the conjuration pile. Wouldn't you like to be Michael here, watching on the big screen TV?
Right, kicking back.
It's the next Netflix, ladies and gentlemen.
TC, here we go.
That's right, $12.99 a month.
Buy my book.
Large screen, Steven and Zach, 15 years into their tabletop journey, they are now live on your TV.
That is right. Wait for that. And that. And that. Gotta do something.
Yeah, see, you don't want to commit to anything, right? This is Ashes is so much, it's that just surprising chest burn for me. Not chest, but chest.
Yes. I'm with it.
I don't know if anyone out there playing Ashes also like played chess in any kind of significant way, but I'd be curious if you did, if you feel similarly about the way that the game exchanges a lot and the way that you set up your plays and your lines, and then, you know, it kind of, the trading begins at a certain point in Ashes. Jeff, this is fantastic. Teaching my son how to play Ashes Reborn today. Good luck with that. Hope it goes well for you. Wonderful. Not just saying, yeah, simple, but way too deep. Too deep, of course, is depending on the person. But yes, it goes really deep. Like right now, this decision is really important.
And it's a doozy. Because I know I played this deck enough to know that you got 5 for a Rhino, and you got 1 for one of the other 2 things you're going to do, which is those 2 or those 2 conjuration spells.
How do you possibly know that?
Yeah, I've done this before.
Come on.
So, I mean, part of me is...
You know I can waste time better than you can, too.
It's interesting, because it's like, I know the Rhino's 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even if you save a Froggy Frog, if you use... You can only use 1... If you use a Frog, you're not going to get another unit. So it's kind of appealing.
Sure.
In a certain kind of way.
Yeah, it's like it takes a Butterfly Monk off the table or an Ancestor Spirit. Now, I can't play the Ancestor Spirit because of all of my sympathy.
Yeah, I'm curious. It's interesting that you chose that.
So it's Butterfly Monk or Frog off.
Yeah, and I have, spoiler, Anchornaut that I like to have for that unit.
Mm-hmm.
But if I don't play it, and I like to play it and summon them out so you can't just nuke the Anchornaut, so I keep getting them back.
Right, yeah.
If I don't do that, I only have 1 other action that I can do, actually. And that's an aggressive decision for me to make.
It is. I went to Frogs because I figured, you know, you were on Allies, so I wanted to scare you as much as I could. And what we're talking about here is that every die not only can be spent to pay a cost, but it can spend itself to do a magic ability. So the power side of a nature die, the frog ability, I can spend 1 frog die as a side action to do 1 damage to anything on the board. Similarly, like Zach can spend 1 illusion die on its power side, the wolf side, to turn 2 of my dice to their lower side. So these 2 frogs would turn into leaves. So each die also has a magic ability associated with it that makes the game roll.
Daniel Ward asking, can you still use the old stuff? So you can. There's an upgrade kit. We have it on our website that brings an old collection completely up to date. It's only $30. I would recommend that. Technically, though, there are characters like Saria who didn't change, so you could still play her, and there's a bunch of cards that didn't change. It's like 60% of the card pool. So you can still play that, but I definitely recommend the upgrade kit. Mutton Chop, good to see you, saying, just signed up for the Discord. I hope I don't screw it up.
Right.
You won't. It'll be good.
Yeah,
I'm super excited you're playing.
Great. There's some webcam games in.
All right, well, I'm going to make a choice, because that's what we're made to do.
Yeah, I do think that's important.
I am going to reveal my some of my new tech. We're going to play a Rosefire Dancer.
Yes.
I love this
This
unit.
is one of those exhausting allies.
Yeah.
know?
So I'm going to exhaust, and I'm going to exhaust your Beast Tamer.
Right on.
And
That's a good exchange.
Yeah, I'm looking at the reality of if you use the frog to get rid of this, I'm at least taking 1 of your units off the board.
Mm-hmm.
And this unit's already off the board, so I'm already really restricting you down.
Off the board in quotations, of course.
It's like it's exhausted.
Yeah.
So if you're going to summon a Rhino, I don't think you have a way to remove that exhaustion.
That's right. You would be correct. You know my first 5 by heart now.
Yeah, I've experienced it a lot.
All right.
Austin saying, how many hours do you think you can get out of a starter kit thinking of buying it? So the master set,
So many.
part of what was so appealing about this game, other than it being beautiful, which hopefully that's showing on the table now, is that the master set in 2015 compared to the FFG core sets at the time for the LCGs, was a complete play set.
It's so good. It's a really good master set.
So the master set comes with 10 of the dice for 5 different magic types and the ability to build 6 different decks at the same time, basically. So 6 decks, in my mind, in the construction and customizing with just that pool, 30 hours before you're like very familiar with everything.
Wonderful value.
So I mean, you're paying like $1-ish, $1.25 an hour. It's hard to beat. And then if you expand the stuff, that's crazy. You spend $200 or $300 on the expansions, infinite.
There are also a lot of people buy the master set and it's on their board game shelf, and that's it. That's the experience they have for the next 30 years. Bring it out once every couple months, play with some friends.
I love seeing this. Lanky Rat says, I couldn't get my 16-year-old daughter interested in Marvel Champions, but she loves Ashes. She requested I get her Echo because she loved his look.
Fantastic.
His pre-con looks brutal. He's amazing.
That's the beautiful thing about the character design in this game is you can definitely find something you're into on one of these Phoenixborn. I'm going to take a main action. I'm going to summon, play a Summon Butterfly Monk spell, and then I'm going to pass my side action.
He's just creeping.
I just want to see what you're into. Austin, master set, starter set, the same thing. I think they called it the master set and maybe still do, but it's a starter, core set, whatever you want to call it. James Marston saying my arcane tokens arrive in the mail today. That's what we're using here. These are our tokens. We started making these in, 2015?
Oh, yeah.
And they've been with us for a very long time.
Well, I think technically, so
Thank you for that.
We hosted an event called Ashes Weekend in like March, April-ish of 2016. And that's when we launched the tokens.
That's when we launched them, yeah.
Because the game didn't come out till like October, November of 2015. They announced it at Gen Con, and then it was this thing.
The classic.
So yeah, since that time. And I saw someone asking if they thought we would ever host an Ashes Weekend Part 2. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's bound to happen once the stores open and the world is more normal. I'm just looking at my options.
You know, you just can't out. You can't out Dirtle, the Dirtle man. And I think Chaos Theory, I think you're in the chat. I saw you explain this, I think, in our Discord at some point. A lot of hypotheticals here, but Ashes is so much a game about consistently winning small exchanges over the course of the game. Your dice are able to produce more value, even slightly more value than your opponent's dice. And that is 100% true. It's usually not giant swings. Like a lot of times, like in a lot of the classic TCGs we play on the throwback streams, the game is kind of like pretty tight, and then one player is like gaining incremental advantage, and then one player plays this 16 cost giant turtle dragon, and then they just are like unstoppable. And Ashes doesn't really have those moments. Everything's broadcast ahead of time, and you can only do so much with 10 dice each turn. So it's a much tighter, winning every exchange kind of experience.
Noxious says, so it's like Fab, minus the legendaries and more open deck building. I mean, I think if you're looking for a non-collectible card game, this is my pick right now.
And it's kind of like Fab mixed with a standard Magic style, system where you're playing things onto a board and you're trying to whittle away your opponent's board to find openings where your stuff can swing through to their Phoenixborn.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty standard idea of how a trading card game has worked since the 90s. But it takes it and it refreshes it in 1,000 really important ways. And Isaac Vega was the lead designer. He's a fan of Magic, but a lot of the things that he saw in the game, as many designers have over the many, many years, changed the things that he thought were not ideal. Like one of the things he always complained about was it felt like as I finally got to my powerful moment, the game was over.
Yeah.
And so he wanted Ashes for you to feel powerful at the very beginning, and then start the game whenever you're like an awesome Phoenixborn, rather than a game about building to be an awesome Phoenixborn and then the game being over.
You get like one turn at Super Saiyan mode.
Yeah.
Austin asking, is the Master Set different than the starter? No, it's the same thing. The Master Set is the starter set. James saying, my Arcane tokens arrive in the mail today.
Yeah,
awesome.
Saw that.
I hope you love them. Cheeserat saying, Ashes has the best core set experience of any expandable card game, hands down.
That's definitely true.
I would have to agree. Lanky asking, has Team Covenant checked out Summoner Wars relaunch from Plaid Hat? Definitely looking at it. It looks great. I saw the rules. I played the online demo. Waiting to get my hands on it to try it. We might stream it at some point.
In Chesseret Plays, this is a really good. Fab is a fighting game. Ashes is chess. I think that's accurate. So Fab is a tempo. It's like the tennis, the back and forth. Every player's active. Ashes has that more like meditative make one move and really understand the impact of it moment by moment.
I think that's completely correct. James saying, is Ashes Weekend 2 something that could really happen? I won't hold you the answer. I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Ashes Weekend Reborn. You gotta have it. I mean, it's right there on the box. There's another question. Noxious saying, I've been jamming way too much Lord of the Rings LCG, but I'm also just a Lord of the Rings degenerate. I feel you. I think a new LCG will help, especially with a fairly straightforward deck building focus. Yeah, it's a great, to me, as a, like, I'm very into card games, and obviously we're streaming all the time. Ashes fits that perfect spot of, I have a collectible game that's fab, that I'm obsessed with and thinking about all the time. But this is like a different, it's hard to explain why it's so different in my brain space.
I almost think it's almost more like the way that I think about art. You know,
Sure.
in a lot of ways, it's like I'm not thinking about the art that I love constantly, but every time I see it, I just love it and I sink into it and I enjoy it.
Every time it's on the table, that's how I feel for sure. Okay, well, you're forcing my hand.
Come on, bring it on, man.
It's really nice. It is really nice that you're making me do this.
It's not like you didn't know what I was gonna do before.
I know.
You know,
but you could like summon something.
Now I'm doing it cleverly,
and then it gets more interesting for me. I think this is the better threat right now. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to summon an Anchornaut. Because I have to take an action, otherwise you just pass, and you got out of this turn in value town. So I'm going to summon Anchornaut, do a damage here.
Okay.
Then,
per its ability, throw one.
I'm going to side action and exhaust here. I'm going to spend a mask, technically a wolf, but a mask it works, and a music note to summon a horse. This Anchornaut is going, he's riding a horse.
It's so cool.
Like, picturing this Anchornaut, I'm actually not going to flip it over anymore. I'm going to show this guy like hanging out there behind it.
You really should. You should get those in sleeves too. What are you, like?
I need
5-year-old?
Well, no, I need my white sleeves. I got a couple of them.
There you go. You know, at least.
Here's what I'll do. I'll put these guys in the white sleeves. I think I have they're right there. There's a pack on your desk. I couldn't find my pack of white sleeves. No, it's fine. I have the ones. All right, he's getting it. It's too late.
Something, man. I'm in. For everyone at home.
Yeah, can you hand me one of those whites? Yeah, that's great.
Everyone is going to be asking in the YouTube comments later on the 17 comments we're going to get. These are Katana Ultimate Guard sleeves.
We're doing a long form experiment right now.
These are actually Dragon Shields.
Between Dragon Shield mat and Katanas. But Katanas, basically Dragon Shield on our Flesh and Blood stuff right now, and Katanas elsewhere. Elsewise, I will say, one thing I like about the Dragon Shields for Ashes, the Ashes cards are a little bigger than most cards. And so these really fill out a Katana sleeve. Like almost to the point where like some of my cards like start sliding out of their sleeve. It's not too small, but like I've noticed in my deck particularly, there are cards that like slowly start sliding to the top of the
Dragon Shields. We got them.
They got them covered up. Covering them deep. So let's put, I can't summon this guy for a while. Let's put him over here. So basically the choices I have, which are kind of cool, I have the Spectral Charger mount, which is kind of the attacky version. 4 attack, he has quick strike, so he hits first. I also have the Pale Steed, who has unit guard. He's a good blocker. But I know Iron Rhino is a 4 health unit. But when he summons Iron Rhino, he's going to have that ice buff, right? I've been over this. We've done this before. So there's a part of me, it's like, summon the Spectral Charger. That way if he summons the thing, I can just immediately attack and deal with it. Or he's going to have to take 4 damage to his thing. But then he's ice buff, so it doesn't matter. So I was tempted to do this, but I want to protect my Rosefire Dancer. So I'm actually going to summon the Pale Steed mount, the Anchornaut hanging out there. I love that visual. It's hanging out. And let me make sure that's what I want to do.
Definitely it, you know? It's definitely it.
Well, the thing about it, too, is like if you keep derping around, now I have a 4 damage attack waiting, which I kind of like.
That's where you've got to ask, what's Steven's next move, depending on what I do here.
Well, I don't think you're going to attack.
Let's discuss it, actually. What do you think? If you do the 4-2, what do you think the next thing I do is? And I'll tell you honestly what it would be.
I think you summon the Iron Rhino.
No.
Summon a Butterfly Monk?
Yeah.
So that I don't attack this thing and get him off the board?
That's right.
But I mean, just a block with Ren.
Well, a Unit Guard Butterfly Monk heal the Beast Tamer, so he comes in fresh next turn. And then I summon Iron Rhino on an exhausted Spectral Charger.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
But I don't think this changes that.
You're back in the problem. This, I probably just go ahead and summon the Iron Rhino.
This thing?
Yeah. Because this thing, when it's in a battle, oh no, it's exhausted
blank.
now.
Yeah, so this would also take care of that
Oh,
problem.
yeah.
So I think you have to do that either way.
Well, that's more tempting to take 2 with Rin, and then pay 1 and kill the Rosefire Dancer.
Yeah, that's true. And then my board's exhausted.
Yeah, taking 2 rather than 4 to your
I think the offensive threat is better because I do not think you can swing the Iron Rhino here.
Yeah, but you won't.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I will allow it.
I probably can't. And like this is a big problem for me. Because like first turn, next turn, if this ability is on the board,
bad.
Iron Rhino is exhausted.
That's why I like this unit, because not only does it solve a problem for me now, but you have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Which is like, if you do deal with it with this, then that's great. You get 1 less unit on the board, which is fine. But I'll let you.
It's actually, this is a much better opening for you. I like this a lot. Because like at this point, even if I answer what you're trying to do here, and I actually do put the Butterfly Monk in, I'm looking at next turn, you become the first player. You can exhaust something as a side action, and then you can Spectral Charger in for 4. And that's really good. So it's crazy. I can't. That's a great, I think Spectral Charger mount is the right call here. I think I might have to take 4 here.
Quick thing.
Isn't that crazy?
Ike asking when we're going to play more Skytear. Probably when the new release is happening in January. So
January?
Not June. It has J. We were close.
We've got news.
Probably around when we have the new expansions is when we'll play next. And then there was another... Sean saying, I got a slightly off-topic question. Do you have a favorite mana resource system?
Ooh, that's nice.
I'll tell you this. I'm really into games at this point.
Are you talking about Star Wars CCG?
No.
Because it's nice.
A phenomenal game.
It's the beautiful engine of only your cards power everything.
I love games that do not have cards that are resources. So
right.
The Game of Thrones, it's like you get gold, but you need to play economy cards, and so those have to be in your deck. Magic, you have the land in your deck. So when a resource is in your deck, but Fab gets away with it because every card is a resource and also a bunch of other things. But having cards be resources, I just don't like, because then you draw your 2 cards for the turn, and they're both resources, and it's horrible. Or you don't draw any resources up front, and it's even more horrible. Yeah, so like Ashes, you start with your 10 resources. They take anytime resources are just out. I like that way better.
Yeah, and even like Marvel Champions gets around that in a good way. So, oh man, this is good. This is a really good conundrum. Done a good job here.
Well, I'm glad I've elevated to at least presenting problems to you, and you're not just sipping your drink, having a good time today. You got to work. Gimmicker saying my favorite is the WoW TCG. Interestingly enough, that's next week's throwback, right? Yeah.
I could let the Beast Tamer go here. You know what I mean? Because like, if I do summon the Rhino and Ice Buff it, you swing into, let's say, the Beast Tamer, and I just lose it, and then I swing back 7 at Jericho, and you still have 3 dice or 4 dice. So that's not ideal. I'm gonna go with the Butterfly Monk. I'm gonna stick with a slower game here and believe in myself drawing the right cards, which actually almost always works out for me, you know? It really does. It's like bizarre, especially on stream. So from the Conjuration pile, I pull in the Butterfly Monk. I take the main action here on the Summon Butterfly Monk card. You see at the bottom of the card. Cost me a frog, which I've spent here. I can place a Butterfly Monk on the battlefield. I have a side action available, which I will not use. Now, there is cool situations where you might like Ice Buff a Butterfly Monk and those kinds of things if you have 1 damage threats, but Spectral Charge is going to run through anything, so it doesn't much matter here.
Yeah. And you got the ability to block this for days.
Yeah.
But that's cool. I do like the concept of getting rid of the Beast Tamer.
It's a good concept. And I'm actually starting to lean now into Iron Rhino actually killing the Rosefire Dancer.
I don't think it's wrong.
I'm not sure it's wrong.
Because if you don't, it's permanently a problem.
Yeah.
But you can always frog it, right? But I'm going first next turn.
You're going first
so
next
you don't
turn.
Want that
and if nothing else, man, it can just be a 3 attack threat. I mean, like, it has a lot of good threats on it.
I don't think it's wrong.
Isn't that funny how things can change?
Okay. I'm going to use Jericho's ability.
And you know, it's funny. I wouldn't have that option if you had brought the Unit Guard horse out. And so, like, the game continues to just impress me.
Spin, spin, spin. I'm looking for a card to put on top of my deck. Do I have to reveal it?
You know, surely not.
Nope.
Usually, any game designer worth their salt, if the card is any card in your deck, you don't have to show it because you don't have to prove that it's a certain type.
But if it's like, go get a reaction spell.
You better be showing it to your opponent. Any game that doesn't do that has failed already. You know?
Miserable, yeah. Okay, I'll get this card. Stick to the plan, right? Stick to the plan. Chaos Theory says, I like Rosefire Dancer a lot. I think it's slightly underrated. I mean, the 1 health is rough against nature of any kind. But at the same time, side action to exhaust something and have a unit they kind of have to deal with.
That's super good.
That's really good.
Super good. Is that a side action to do that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Jericho.
And then I get a main action. This is where...
And obviously attacks are main actions, in case
where
you're
the
curious.
game is made. I'm curious how you'll play this.
Me too.
I'm going to swing at the Beast Tamer.
Yeah, the other thing I've got to look at here, honestly. Even if I don't summon the Rhino here, I can literally take 3 frogs and clear the board.
Yep.
So that's interesting.
I agree.
Stick to the plan, right? Stick to the plan, they say. I will Unit Guard with Butterfly Monk.
All right. Get gobbled up by this horseman.
Okay, and Butterfly Monk has an inexhaustible ability. When it's destroyed, it has Mend 1. You can remove a wound token from a unit or a
Does it hit me for 1?
It does not. You have Quick Strike.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because I'm
You're a fast horse. You're the cavalry, man.
I'm the real thing. Michael saying, when are we planning to open satellite TC locations? Well, you just never know. It won't be this year. We're trying to open 1 location. And boy, is it a process. That's when you realize, like, when Starbucks was opening an average of 1 store a day, it's like, that's a machine.
Yeah.
Built for building.
So, I know you've got 2 cards. One of them may well be an answer to what I would want to do with the Rhino. So I'm actually going to dirtle more and see if you pass. So I'm going to do a main action here. And it's going to signal to me, like, if you do nothing, I think you do have an answer. And then I may end up just side action, kill Rosefire, pass if you pass, and then go to the next turn.
Clear?
Clear. Because you got 2 power sides over there, which obviously you've got answers.
I don't know what you're talking about. Could be anything. Could be everything.
Huh.
That's something.
Your balancing mains and sides is really fascinating too. Hold me closer, Tony Danza.
I guess if you summon the Rhino, you can't also kill the Rosefire Dancer.
That's right. Not with a die, at least.
And if you don't summon it, okay, let's do this. Sir? Sir? I declare I'm going to play to Shadows. Discard an exhausted unit. Side action.
Ah!
There
it is.
And then
the Beast Tamer.
I will pass my main action.
Love that card. Yeah. Okay. Sure. I'll do it.
Here comes Johnny.
Better than 2 shadows on the Rhino. That's not what I want.
That's what I was hoping for.
And we will go ahead and just side action Ice Buff. Using Rin's ability.
Sorry about that.
I haven't seen it twice, whatever it is. Hope it's not good. Over to you.
Draw a card.
Mm-hmm.
Pass.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's an answer. We're going to try to swing at the Rose Fire Dancer here. I know Illusion's got some
Figures
goods.
in the fog.
What's it do?
I can play this spell after an opponent declares attackers. Choose a target attacking unit and place an exhaustion on it. It is no longer attacking.
Ah, no. All right.
End of round.
End of round. Clear all the
see.
exhaustion. And draw
Risky.
5.
Technically roll, and then if you have cards in your hand, you can choose to keep or discard after you roll.
Love rolling into that snake, let me tell you.
Yeah. The old cancel. Although it's hard to cancel an ally ability, right?
You'd be surprised.
Does Golden Veil cancel that as well? From memory? Can you tell me that?
I'm pretty sure it does, yes. I think it cancels about everything.
It's no fun. Well, we gotta lock this down. Oh boy, don't you know? Well, one snake to rule them all. I will attempt to side action exhaust. Place an exhaustion on a target unit.
You got it. No veils this time.
All right, but he had the threat.
One day.
Well, this seems like a fine opportunity. Swing for 4.
And react with a call to action.
Oh no! What have I done?
After an opponent declares attackers, remove an exhaustion token from a target
That's
unit.
the worst.
Now.
I've made a mistake.
Now what do we do? We take 4.
Yeah.
Were you attacking Rhino?
I was
Or
attacking
Ren?
here, Ren.
Yeah, I'm taking 4.
5 health is not the idea of a good time for me there.
Okay. Let's see here.
I remember when we realized call to action was good.
Yeah.
And it's even better than I thought it was.
It was a big moment, yeah.
Cheeser Cat says, this turn is just too much drama. This is Ashes.
I've got a shot for 7 here, I think.
On me?
Yeah.
You do.
Or
It's built in. Or you can get a little greedy.
I can get greedy.
You can get something in, you have the seeds or whatever it is that you get 2 guys that have the share the attack value. But if you do that and then I haven't answered old Rhino right on my turn, you're going to regret it.
Yeah.
We'll see what kind of player you are.
All right, we're going to play close combat main action.
Yep.
I'm going to take 1 damage to the Rhino and do 7 to you.
You got it. And that ally is going to bounce back to the hand.
Keep the threat alive, right? Keep the threat alive.
No sides?
Good question. Yeah, thanks. I'll do 1 meditate. Oof, Golden Veil. I love meditating those these days. Up to a horsey.
It's like that's the only thing you can meditate.
Yeah.
Those things are way. All right, he's got a horsey, which he needs to do something.
My ancestor spirit.
There he is. You're trying to get the other thing out. I get it. I get it. I get it. Now that 4 damage attack looks a lot spicier.
It's real spicy. That's why we got to keep that Rhino up.
Spicy, spicy, spicy. Do you ever look at your hand and say, I need to figure out what I'm doing?
Ashes is a game that really begs you to be greedy.
Yeah.
You're just like, if I can just do one turn of them not messing with my central plan, it's going to be 20 times the sum of its parts. But if they do mess with that plan, I basically lose everything. Like, all of the opportunity I had is gone. Do 7 of the Phoenixborn or try to push for 20, you know, like one of those kind of situations.
Yeah. It is specifically asking you to be greedy.
It's actually when you get better, it's a good chess analogy, because as you get better at chess, you just learn to never, ever be greedy.
Always,
It's
don't
always
make the
like
trade.
the most robotic trades you can make. You got to.
Yeah. I concur. Late stage. Side note. Interesting, man. How much health does that Ancestor Spirit have?
It's always fun, and it's a 2/1.
Noted.
2/1, 1/1, 7/4.
All right.
You can see where the beef is.
We have the beef. Oh boy. Sometimes though, it's just like I want to take an action, but I don't want to do anything too fancy, because I want to save my fancy.
You gotta save your fancy.
I mean, what answers do you have, Stephen?
Depends on what you got, man. You know? I got 3 beautiful cards. They're good. These are good cards. Some of my favorites.
Presumably to me, what you've got is a frog, a horse,
And a wardrobe.
and a rhino, and then one thing you want to do. And so you want to use the rhino and get it off the table so you can get it out again. That's like the worst. The worst thing can happen to me is that you use the
double rhino
and get the rhino back.
The 2 scoops?
The double
that would
scooper.
That would
Yeah.
be tough.
So to prevent you from doing that, I'm just gonna
Don't kill the rhino.
No, I'm
That's
gonna
an easy idea.
I'm gonna upgrade into a better decision.
But now I have a better plan.
Yeah, I'm gonna play Steady Gaze. We're
Okay.
gonna spend 2. We're gonna put 2
All right,
exhaustions
you got
on
it.
a rhino.
You got it. Rhino
So,
says no.
I hate doing that this soon, but my other option is play a spell and let you just have a free rhino swing.
Yeah, you don't want that.
And like taking 7 is bad. So
It's what they say.
while I'm telegraphing what I'm doing a little, or not telegraphing, what is it?
Broadcasting?
Broadcasting.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
fine. So we'll leave it at telegraphing.
You
Old
can
school.
send any communique you want.
While I'm telegraphing the fact that you're going to be exhausted and you can try to wiggle out, I also am avoiding a potential 7 right now. And if you spend a couple dice to like remove all exhaustion with like refresh or something, that's fine.
It's fine. It's a back and forth ski. When Ancestor comes into play, I draw a card. And then I can put one on the bottom of my draw pile.
Chaos Theory says, Zach's got those advanced tips for any noobs out there. Taking 7 is bad. Yeah, you can put that on a shirt.
Okay, I'll put that one on the bottom.
All right, mine?
Yeah.
I'll show you the true power
the
of
Anchor
my
Knot.
Star Destroyer. Yeah, we will, for sure. Anchor Knot for 1 on the Spirit.
You got it.
And then I'll side action here. We'll exhaust. I can't. That's a mistake. I'll side action.
Do you still want Anchor Knot?
No, I don't. We're going to back that up.
Oh, you need to meditate first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Classic problem. You have your unit back.
Oh, all right.
Ugh.
See, I knew that. That's why I committed the ancestor spirit.
Let's meditate. We're gonna go horsey.
All right, the 2 shadows out of here. I love seeing that.
Horsey.
Hollow. You're running the good cards now. Who told you to put the good cards in there? Look at you meditating your life away. Oh, 4 cards. This is a mill game now.
Yeah.
I just gotta last.
You've
You've done like 8 off the top.
maybe one more.
A 9 off the top this game.
This turn is the turn, dude. Let's party.
You definitely
Meditate, and then I have an action.
definitely going for it, aren't you?
Let's play a summon ghostly mount.
Okay.
I'll give you a free 2 swing.
You got it. I will take it. Uh-huh. Yeah, 2 to Jericho.
Use it while you got it.
And then side action, we gotta look at some things here. We're happy with this. We're happy with this.
The eyes have it.
You guys have it. Couple of turns, man. This Rhino's coming out.
I have no doubt.
You got a veritable stable of beasts over there, horses and wolves.
Yep. Spectral wolves, spectral horses.
Frank asks, is one of the arcane token sets enough for 2 players? So they're explicitly designed to be fully okay for 1 player, like more than you would probably need.
I thought we designed it for 2.
Not explicitly. Maybe we did, but at least we should say now as a talking point that we did not explicitly design it for 2 people.
Well, because originally
because the status tokens are really going to be, what we used to say was it's probably enough for 2, but if both players are using a lot of status token effects, it will not be enough.
Yeah, because we also designed them in a time when there was a master set.
Yeah,
it was a different time.
And you know, the more status tokens you add, the more expensive it is. So we were trying to hit the right price point for it. I think if I were a frugal 2-person team in Ashes, I would buy 1 set. And then if I had extra status tokens, I would use dice or pennies or whatever.
Do you ever look at your hand and you're really just not sure what you're going to do?
No.
Okay.
No, I've mastered the game.
Just me, huh? Cool.
I've already seen 7 turns ahead, Zach. 14 to 16 coming down the wire.
Yeah.
It all depends on what your 5th card is off of your top deck there.
Doesn't it, though? I do that.
It's a good point, Chaos Theory. Saying the way that we talk about Flesh and Blood being a game where you start strong and you progressively get weaker is how Chaos Theory feels about meditation and Ashes. You know, you meditate early, but over time your deck runs out and then you're back to the slog, you know?
Yeah. How far down that path do you want to go? Let's play the Anchornaut and do a damage there.
You got it.
Then we'll side action
Spirit Boogie's back.
here. We're gonna get the beefer.
The beef, huh?
We have the beef.
More beef. Okay. Your favorite and mine. Let's.
Cheeser Cat, did you answer the status token thing? We may well make a supplement pack at some point.
Yeah, if we do that, we'll do it probably over the holidays. We'll probably do like a Bugatti status token and then just sell a big pack of them for a holiday special. Butterfly Monk in the pocket there.
Uh-huh. Interesting.
They took a lot from us these past few years. Game of Thrones and Star Wars. They took a lot.
Everything. Literally,
It really made me doubt the ability for consistent quality to ever exist.
this is why I became as much of a Marvel fan as I am.
Yeah.
Because they actually delivered. So 2019, the year before everything went wrong, I should have known. Literally 3 of my favorite fictional characters.
I warned you after episode 2, man.
It's literally Daenerys,
Yeah.
Kylo Ren, and Captain America. And there's only one of those that went well.
That's true. That's true.
It's a bummer.
You know, do you feel like, honestly, is it really just about the fact that Marvel understood what was good about Marvel, whereas Star Wars and Game of Thrones did not understand why people were so attracted to Star Wars and Game of Thrones?
I think 2 things happened.
And production, and, you know, there's the politics of everything.
I
and
think
whatnot,
that
too, but-
Marvel got very fortunate with Iron Man and Robert Downey Jr. And it was like, hey, this was really good. Let's do it like this a lot.
Okay, so
And
that
it
was
was
the
like-
template, you think?
Yeah, for sure. Because they did Hulk before that, and it was really just okay with Edward Norton.
Yeah,
And
Iron
they
Man
did-
was phenomenal.
Then they did Iron Man, and it was like, oh, we should do a lot of movies like this. And it was great. The other thing they did is they said, hey, let's have one person who has like a 10-year vision on how this story is going to go. Star Wars did not do that.
Right.
They said, make money. And then
Try, at least.
Game of Thrones is just a history example for everyone.
Was it really just post Martin's writings just became mashed potatoes, basically?
I think it's the combo of post Martin's writings and also the directors being done and wanting to just move on
just
to the next
over it,
thing.
yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's
Because
good
HBO
writing.
was like, hey, you can have as many seasons, as much money as you want to do this right. And they were like, we just need 2 more seasons. Let's go.
Yeah.
But
Which is, I mean, you don't necessarily want a 25 season game. I mean, I don't, but
yeah, but
Maybe.
they ran into the same problem George Martin is running into, which is like he's supposed to finish this thing in 2 books, and he's like probably trying to write it. And it's like there's no way.
yeah.
In the same way, they were in the writing room like, there's no way at this pace we're never gonna finish this show.
Yeah.
It's like we have 10 more years to go.
Yeah.
Anyways,
It's fair.
that's my thoughts on 2019 and pop culture.
I did kind of ask for it.
Yeah, you did. This is a weird one.
Now,
Here's-
my turn could very easily be meditating up to frogs, killing my rhino, and casting it again next turn.
True.
Or next round.
Which would ultimately, of all the things you could do with your dice, that's better than what you've been doing to me. So I'm going to attack your Phoenixborn with my Spectral Charger, but I'm going to react to that.
What do you got? You got to
With a
kill something?
crescendo.
I love crescendo.
So I'm going to
That's
spend a
good.
music note and discard a card and do 3 damage to your Butterfly Monk.
Right on. I will activate the Mend ability, heal 1 from Rin, and then take 4.
Yep.
So 4 plus 3 is 7.
You got it.
Up to 7. There we go. All right. Crescendo it is. It was a crescendo. It was a firefight.
I think that's what happened, Noel. Saying Star Wars felt like death by committee. 100%. I always forget that. Incredible Hulk came out 2 months after Iron Man.
Really?
But obviously Incredible Hulk was done filming by the time Iron Man was coming out.
Mm.
And it was like, oh, Marvel should be fun. The Hulk movie kind of feels like the Hulk Hero Pack.
Not great.
It was
One?
trying.
You got 1 card?
Yep. They had the right actors.
I've got some weird stuff going on here, man.
Oh, I have to do a damage here to do that crescendo.
Right on. All right. I'm gonna... I'm gonna play Frostbite. And then I'm gonna meditate 1. Oh, another Golden Veil. Don't even need it anymore.
Bugatti.
We'll just go up to 1 frog. If you want to spend a die on it, you're welcome to do it.
I don't. At any point, ever. Alright.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. feel like I've gotten the best out of this turn. I'll pass.
Got everything I need here. Okay.
I love Frostbite. Cheesy Rat, it's correct, saying Game of Thrones ultimately was got to wrap this up and make a Star War, which I love that they lost. I don't know if you're aware of that. They had signed a deal to do a Star Wars trilogy. The Thrones director.
Oh yeah, they did lose it.
And then after 8 went so bad, Star Wars was like, you know what? Never mind.
Good for them, really, honestly.
Yeah.
All right, let's play a Raptor Herder with this here music note. Get a little Raptor boy in here. And then I'm going to side action Rin and Ice Buff onto said Raptor Herder.
So the Herder, not the Raptor.
Not the Raptor. 0/1 is less good than a 1/1 in my mind.
I think that is just truth. All right, well, let's do a fun thing. I'm going to side action Adrenaline Rush.
Okay.
Spend a horse, do a damage here.
Okay.
To remove a focus, but it doesn't matter because it's gone. And then...
That's it?
I'm going to...
You don't do something to me as well? You just... Oh, you hurt something and remove a focus from
it?
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'll pass.
Okay. We know the Anchornaut's coming in, huh?
Here comes the Anchorman. My friends call me Whiskers. Because I'm curious, like a cat.
I watched so much of that as a high schooler.
Milk. Such a bad decision.
I watched so much of that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable amount.
Between like Anchorman and Napoleon Dynamite and what's the other one that I watched that's in that category? Like late high school, that kind of humor. Was it Nacho Libre? Was that around that time?
I'm gonna do one to the Rosefire Dancer here. Side action.
Here you go.
And then we're gonna main action one to your Phoenixborn with Frostbite.
Boom. Roasted. All right. Let's play.
Boom. Roasted.
The Anchornaut. Do damage there. And then I'll spin 2. And let's get that charger mount back out here.
Yeah, here we go. All right, we're going to side action meditate.
I did totally miss that, Kaylee. The thing I used to kill my own unit cost an extra basic, making my entire line not feasible.
I think we're cool. I'm into it.
It's fine.
I'm going to meditate 1 to Frogsville. And then in an interesting turn of events, I'm going to meditate 2 to Frogsville, which is not the interesting turn.
What is the interesting turn?
The interesting turn is I'm going to play close combat to do 1 damage to you, 1 damage to me.
That is interesting. Not crazy, but interesting.
Not crazy, that's right.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'll swing for 4 at your Phoenixborn.
All right, Herder says no.
I'll strike you down.
Quick struck.
You're up.
All right, side action there with the frog magic.
Pass.
Yeah, nothing. I'm good. Next turn.
An interesting exchange.
That was cool. Yeah. One exhaustion off everything. Rhinos down one more turn, maybe more. There's plenty of steady gazes in that deck, I'm certain.
It's steady as it can be. If you catch my drift.
And if you hadn't had a quick strike, that was a particularly fun move. Okay. Always feels like you're reaching into your bag of magic tricks, you know, when you roll those dice.
Yeah. It's like, see what happens.
See what happens, Larry?
Killing your
Oh my
father,
gosh,
Larry.
what a crazy, hilarious hand. I mean, yeah. Everything's fine.
Everything is fine. You're first, Tony.
Oh, I'm the first player.
Uh-huh.
Well. Great questions.
Chaos Theory Rhino had 2 exhaustion on it. So he unexhausted once, but he still has an exhaustion on it.
Yeah, the steady gaze. He doesn't have. He has nothing fancy there. Summon a Butterfly Monk. Monkin ain't easy. And there may be more here.
Okay.
So now you got Anchornaut garbage.
Anchornaut's coming to party.
Constant Anchornaut garbage. I will go ahead and ice buff it.
Well, that's one way around her.
It's an icy Butterfly Monk. King of Odonata, the thing about that, though, is that there are a lot of ways to utilize exhausted conjurations. We have tools to solve the problems, which is really cool. So like right now, what Zach has to honor, he knows I could have Exhortation. If he doesn't play a unit here, this Butterfly Monk could swing for 8. And that doesn't care about the Rhino being exhausted. So it actually makes it just more interesting, I think, you can control it, but there are enough cards in the pool where there's still a persistent threat of something that big being on the board. So exhaustion is a way to control, but it's far from the permanence that killing or removing something from the board is. So it's a much different control strategy either direction.
All right. Let's do this. I'm going to take a gamble.
Because Exhortation right now would be absolutely Bugats.
I'm going to use Accelerate.
Okay.
So I draw a card. Change 2 dice in my pool to sides of my choice. Let's go.
No, I'll ask him, will deck lists be public for the league? They won't. You can change your deck list every week if you want. You don't submit a deck list. There's no official anything like that.
And then I get 2 additional side actions this turn. Buyer beware.
2 additional side actions. Remedy asking, do we feel the card pool is wide enough a tool set? I think it's incredibly wide. I think it's wonderful, actually. There's a like any game, there's a select number of categories and problems you're going to find. You know, one is a lot of things, one is one big thing, and one is a lot of exhaustion, one is a lot of damage, right? So you got to kind of figure out the angle of your deck, what you're weakest to, your answers to those strategies whenever you're coming up against them, how you first 5 against them, and then obviously what you're going to do against your opponent's threats that occupy those categories. Like Ice Buff's a good answer to damage in the form of nature decks and those kinds of things.
I'm going to do damage to the Rhino.
Okay.
With this action. I have 2 side actions left. So first side action, of course, we're going to mount up. Force time.
Was it Billy Ray Cyrus that did the Old Town Road with Lil Nas? Lil Nas X? I think it was.
I do not
Somebody out there knows for sure.
know.
Somebody out there knows.
And then
In my heart. Horses are quick striking me to pieces, man.
They can present problems. I think.
Thanks, Wade. Appreciate that.
I'm gonna meditate for 1 to another copy of a wolf.
What's that about?
Your turn.
You worried about
I'm
something?
just wolfing around, dude. Don't worry about it. Cool.
You're about to be on the clock, sir.
I had to spend a basic on the anchor knot, I think. This thing, anchor knot.
You can always track your turn. Accelerate.
There it is. Got it.
Yeah.
Horse.
Horse.
King of Donata. We haven't really looked at Vampire Masquerade Rivals. Only medium interest in the. It's like a multiplayer vampire game, kind of akin to Vampire Eternal Struggle by Renegade. I think it looks great, but just not super appealing to me.
Main action, we're going to play Frostbite. Side action, we're going to meditate.
When did you start playing a burn deck?
To an Ancestor Spirit, or to an Ancestor Spirit to a horse. Not broadcasting what my plan is.
That's so. I went up to a wolf so that I could keep you off of that. So that's funny. We both know the score here. All right, mine.
Mm-hmm. I love this. Just draw a card, put one on the bottom. It's like finding that right tool for the moment. Ancestor Spirit is the jam. Every time we played, I've had different things that are included, like be the MVPs. That's just a sign of a
phenomenal
deck that's just too good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just gotta ban it.
Oh.
Nick texted me the other day and he said, "Hey man, if you play that Rhino deck on stream again, I'm gonna have to consider banning. I got a restricted list ready to go. Rhino's on there with Rin, you know."
This sounds exactly like
what happened.
What happened? Yeah.
This was definitely what happened. It's a good daiquiri, man.
It was
those
good.
Drinks.
I got decisions to make here.
Is the new Vampire still multiplayer focused or heavy? Because like that's where it finds the lane. Like
I think so.
Saying it competes with Fab and Ashes, which is kind of true.
It's called Masquerade.
But yeah, but if you're a 3 to 4 player game at your heart, that's the audience you should be just relentlessly trying to hit. It should be Ashes and Flesh and Blood players 4 to 5 player game. Or 3 to 4, as the case may be. Take my horse and the mining road, I'm gonna ride till I can't no more.
All right, let's do this.
Played that song at 2 weddings, and I gotta tell you, it goes off.
Every time.
Every time. Slaps, as the kids say. Or maybe now the adults that used to be kids say. I don't know. Kids don't actually say slaps, do they?
Oh, they do.
Like the young kids, like the Instagram
From what I
15-year-olds
know,
or whatever?
everything slaps.
Really?
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
People saying yeet a lot, too.
No.
Memes and this thing. I don't know. I think that's old now, too.
You ready to just make some mistakes?
Yeah, no, I'm not, but I'm happy to watch you make them.
All right. Spectral Charge is going to attack your Ren, and I'm going to react with a Crescendo.
A Crescendo?
Yeah.
On this?
Yeah, on your Butterfly Mont.
You doing 3 to me?
Yeah. I'm going to have to discard a card.
That's pretty good. Well, you did it. I'll heal 1. How many Crescendos are in there? 20?
Enough.
Heal 1, take 4, so I got a 10. 7 away, man. You got some weird horse magic over there. I've never seen this horse magic before.
And then side action, I'm going to wolf that down 1 and that down 1.
Wolf it down.
You also should have done that first to prevent the potential Golden Veil.
Oh, sure, yeah. There's 2 in the graveyard here, so.
Mutton chop. You two are getting old. How does it feel? It just feels normal.
Actually, it feels all right.
I like it.
I had a lot of thoughts about it at one point, and now I think I've reached the acceptance stage. You still have a stupid anchor nut in your hand? How many are in your discard pile? Any?
Anchor nut?
You're about out of cards, my friend.
You're not doing too hot over
there.
Hey. There are none in my discard pile.
So there are anchor nuts.
Odds are high. High.
More mounts, he says. More mounts.
Oh yeah, hold on. That happens. That might change my mind on what I get rid of. Oh, I crescendoed. That's what I got rid of.
No, I'll just kill that thing.
Yeah. Then I have another anchor nut, you see?
Yeah, yeah.
I still think it's the right call. Because if you do that, I do that, and I do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Be careful here. We don't need more ghostly mounts, let me tell you. I don't want to. I'm at the point where I really don't want to start meditating, you know? So, I'm seeing my 1 health units are a bit of a liability now with your big anchor party. Just rolling, man. And then you bring another horsey out.
Yeah, we just keep partying. It's crazy.
You know?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because if you pop it, I have to just get it back fresh. It's the Iron Rhino problem I have.
I'm not popping it.
Yeah, I know.
That is not happening. Let's do 2 side actions, or 2 meditations. 1, see here, change psyche, remove 1 exhaustion. Would have been nice. Flute mage, remove an exhaustion. That'd be nice too. Just the wrong side of town. And then I'll do a main action to bring the ancestor spirit out. We'll see if we can get some unexhaustion cards in our hand. We just mulled a lot of them, but there's some in there. I'll never tell.
Mine?
Yours, yeah.
Pass.
Pass.
Oh, yeah.
You must have a little exhausty tricks or something in there.
What are you talking about? 2 horses and a wolf. It's the name of my short story.
Mm-hmm. What's it? Can I see your discard pile? I just kind of want to remind myself of what the heck's going on here.
Here, I'm gonna go brush my teeth, and you can talk to the chat about whateve's on your brain.
Zach's got Invisalign. He's not weird. Well, he is weird, but he's not that kind of weird.
Normal weird. Not brush
Okay,
my
so
teeth.
Shatterpulse, unit is destroyed. Crescendo, accelerate, blink, rosefire, adrenaline rush. So you could well, you can't adrenaline rush them out. Kill yourself. So here's what I'm looking at, everybody. Figures in the Fog is where this is at. I mean, I know he's got Figures in the Fog at this point. I see 1 in the discard pile. There's like 4 left in the deck. So it's interesting because I actually have the play. I have Exhortation to swing Ancestor Spirit in for 9. But what I think happens is I play this, I swing, and he does Figures in the Fog. And then it comes back exhausted. I'm not gonna waste it on that. I suppose you have to get it. Like, would he do it on a 2 is the question. Like, if I could just swing here, save the card, would he go ahead and use the figures? It comes back. Then I'm looking at seeds to crush this into something and then bring it back. And then we've got the 3rd Frostbite, which is so funny to me. We're about to just be doing 3 every turn. It's going to be really, really, really funny. What's up, Nick? Hey, Nick. In the chat. Hey, we were just talking about you. Nothing but bad things. I feel good about this turn that I've got, but I do think that a lot of it revolves around this moment right here. If he doesn't have Figures in the Fog in hand, this game is over. But he does. They always have it. Always. Just assume your opponent is as smart as you are. We could try to bait that wolf out by throwing up to frogs. That would save me a lot of problems. I think my win condition is probably mill at this point. Like some combination of mill 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's got 6. I've got 8. This is going to be interesting, everybody. He passed. The fact that he passed here tells me he does not have a way to do 1 damage. I think he would have done 1 damage to the Ancestor Spirit, so he does not have an Anchornaut in hand. Which probably means I have time, actually. I might just waste time and do 1 to the Phoenixborn. Do 1 to the Phoenixborn. Play another Frostbite, do 1 to the Phoenix. Like I can waste a lot of time before I have to commit to something here. And if he keeps passing as I spin dice, eventually it'll be better for me to just go ahead and pass. I'll have a fresh Rhino. Yeah, that's correct, E. Kimmel. Good heads up there. With Frostbite out, he has no reason to waste a wolf die on frogs. He didn't bite on the snake either. Man, that sitting on illusion die is scary. It's a scary thing. That that die brings the goods. He may also be sitting on a To Shadows, and he's gonna, like, the very last thing, destroy the Rhino once I go past 4 dice to cast another one. We've got 3 in the discard, so that's not happening. It's 100% Figures in the Fog. He's got it. I mean, I know he has it. I know he has it. 2 cards. No, he's got it. He's going to get very surprised when that other Rhino drops out. And I can Frostbite the Anchornaut if it comes back. I think my play here is I'm just going to attack with the Ancestor Spirit. I think that's right. I think I'll use it. I think I'll use it. Or, if I exort now, it'll force him to use it, and then next turn he doesn't have it for the Rhinos. Oh, it's such a good game. Ugh. You could read manuals on this stuff. Oh, nothing. Oh, nothing. It's one of my favorite things to do. Oh, nothing.
I swear, nothing. All right, what you got?
I have a lot of thoughts.
You want to tell me about them?
I think you definitely have Figures in the Fog.
What? Why? What makes you think
Because
that?
I was wondering your discard pile and you have 6 cards in your deck. The chances of you having... what's a card? But really, though, do you have it?
It at least looks like I have it.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what's the likelihood of you having it?
8
It is an 8, isn't it? That's kind of where I am.
is good odds,
Yeah.
but not perfect odds.
Would you use it on a 2 attack?
No. Would I use it on a 9? I would.
This guy.
I know. What are the odds of you having that? What exhortation is that? What it's called? It's a card that gives you the Rhino strength.
It's so fun to actually get to uncrack this. I mean, Ashes is really good for this, but this is the kind of thing that's happening all stream, every stream. The inner things that we're actually thinking that we don't actually ever talk about on stream is a lot.
Yeah, I think playing more openly in terms of our thought process is probably healthy for both us and the viewers.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's a big part of, like, it's not, you see what actually gets played, but you don't understand, like, the full reality of what's going on here.
You really don't.
I'm going to swing at you for 2, Jericho.
I'm gonna take it. I basically learned how to close the doors that allow the most water in. You know,
I no idea what you're
like if the ship is sinking.
Oh, okay.
You gotta shut off the most water.
So you're shutting off the right mains, the valves.
So like,
you know.
2 damage is fine.
Yeah.
18 damage is never fine.
That's not okay.
So I need to stop that play.
That's correct.
Yeah. And you just gotta learn, the difference.
The difference. Right. It's a matter of numbers.
It's really. You done?
I'm done. Yeah, that's my main.
All right, let me think about this. It's kind of interesting. If I do exhaust the Rhino, it kind of doesn't give you anything to do with all your dice. Because you're planning on 5 of those things going out each round.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say. I'm noticing that about the deck. Now I've got 2 frostbites, so I at least can do 2 to you, or
yeah,
I can put another anchor knot on the board.
Not what you want to do.
Well,
So I think you have way more dice that haven't been used. You're at least going to do that twice.
I'm definitely doing that twice.
So I'll pass. Not give you anything else to think about doing.
I keep thinking, man. I mean, yeah, I do have to ask. So, like, let's say I do 2 direct to Jericho. Go to next turn because you can just keep passing. I've got an Ancestor Spirit Iron Rhino untapped. You've got a Spectral Charger with an Anchor Knot untapped. Also with 1 damage on it.
Assuming I have figures in the fog, then what I probably do is swing here at Jericho.
Or at Ren. You swinging at yourself now? Is this next level?
At Ren.
Stats?
In which case, you probably block with the Ancestor Spirit. In which case, you attack with the Rhino, and I figures in the fog then.
Yeah.
And we're back in the same.
Back in the same. The tune is back in the can, as we say, Now that I'm saying that.
Then in the can. Yeah. Want to take a brief moment and mention our sponsor, Nalgene, home of the wet brain. Actually, we had a friend of the show, Doug, who sent us these awesome Nalgene bottles. It took me forever to convert. And now I'm holding it over the table open. HDPE free. Did I get it right?
HDPE free, 100% food grade plastic, made in the USA.
I'm telling you, I'm so close.
I know.
I'm 1 letter off now.
Your checks are only for $5,000. Mine are still at 10 grand.
Okay. They actually take 5 grand from me every time I get it wrong.
All right, here we go. Why don't we do this? Why don't we do Frostbite into that Spectral Charger mount?
Okay, so it's gone.
It's gone.
I will tell you I love this game.
But you don't? You just tell me that?
I enjoy it every time we play it. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do I want to do? I need to be able to do that. And this. Of course.
So your figures in the fog dice needs to stay.
That's right. Well, I at least have to keep threatening it.
Stay clean.
Sue. Yeah.
I can keep frosting if you'd like.
I mean, I guess I'll anchor knot the spirit.
Right on.
Then I'll side action. That being a side action is unparalleled.
Yeah, the old charger.
Now I have a choice.
Boy, howdy, don't you?
4 life is a lot.
It's a lot of life. Tremendous
4
amount.
damage when you don't have anything on the board is also a lot.
Tremendous amount of life.
Let's go. You know me.
I can't complain. The big boy. All right. The moment. Here comes Seeds of Aggression. Choose a unit I control, choose a unit you control. They do damage to each other. 7 and 4. Here's your exhaustion, buddy.
I love that that guy comes back.
I've seen 20 anchor knots this game.
A lot. That's the MVP of this deck. All right.
No side action.
Pass. No particular reason.
Just got to keep that figures in the fog around, you know?
Just you're gonna pay 1, do 1, then you pass the side action. Cool. Then you're gonna summon the Rhino. I'm gonna figure the fog, and we'll go to the next round. It's cool.
I am going to summon the Rhino.
You're gonna hit me first, or you're gonna summon the Rhino?
I'll probably summon the Rhino first and just make you prove it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just in case you play that anchor knot instead. That'd be real funny.
Van says, off topic, but I got my data token set today, ready for some Netrunner.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Woo.
That token set has been around since 2013. It's crazy.
All right. 5 for Big Papa Pump here.
Scott Steiner.
Pass to either.
Pass.
Swing for 7. Don't have it. Don't have it.
Figures are fine.
There it is.
Pass.
1 to your Phoenixborn with Frostbite, please.
Pass.
You passing?
I'm passing.
Play another Frostbite.
Oh, get out of here. Gross. When did this become a burn deck?
When you stop taking actions,
All
man.
right, no pass.
Pass.
It's close to me. I got Rhino problems. It's definitely a much better game.
Yes, it is better game. You don't want no Rhino with me.
Kesret says, those old school Covenant videos where they go card by card through all the Netrunner cards gets me so hyped. The old unboxings.
It's the old unboxing without a box in sight.
That was an era. We used to get people to complain about that.
Yeah. They didn't even open the box.
It's like, well,
This isn't an unboxing.
take your...
I mean, they were technically completely right. We would later find out that, like, there were 5-year-olds making $1 million on YouTube just opening toy boxes, you know?
Like you do.
Which, if I'd have known that, I would definitely not have gone through all this trouble.
All right, there's a way to do this.
After all of that, you're 4 damage up, and I've got a fresh Rhino on the board. After all of that.
And you're stacked.
And I am stacked. I saw those 3 Frostbites. I was like, oh, hello. Going Great says, all we truly need is Ashes and Netrunner. I would say the other 2 King of the Mountains, Kings and Queens of the Mountain, when it comes to non-collectible competitive card games. Southpaw said those videos were and are the best Netrunner content out. Some of those early videos are terrifying to me at this point.
Yeah, I don't think about them.
Just like, oof.
All right. Here's the play.
Yeah, let's go. Need 7 damage. You don't want no problem with me. You don't want no problem with me. How many cards you got? 2?
5 in my hand, 3 in my deck.
Oof. We got plenty of game left, my friend.
Yep.
I'm 2 frogging, too. Frogging ain't easy.
You get 10 damage showing. It's gross.
You used to do that stuff to me.
I know. That's my burn deck.
Yeah, except you didn't do any of this fun stuff. It's all back here. And that stupid molten gold card where you just pay money for damage.
Mm-hmm.
Who designed that? It's a disaster. Can't imagine who that would be. Van, a Thursday night throwback league would be awesome. I'd love that.
There's a way this goes very well for me.
Yeah? That's unfortunate for me. I'm gonna keep playing stuff, you know? I don't remember what cards I have.
Hurts my brain. I think this is the way. So anchor knot and do a damage. Spin in action. Summon a horse. First thing I get the beefy boy. Your turn.
Wait, is it the unit guard? You want the actual beefy? This is the beefy boy.
I want this one. I don't want you to attack me, do 2 damage, carry over, and get another Rhino out.
Right on.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You still got weird illusion stuff that I gotta watch out for, you know?
You can't see me? Spanky.
All right, how many anchor knots does Zach have? Question we all have to ask ourselves, really.
Greater than 0.
It's probably greater than 0. Yeah.
Oh my god. Apparently, Rain and Reverie from Netrunner is currently listed at $700 on eBay.
Don't pay it. Just print the cards out. Like drive-through cards, their cards are great. Or make playing cards. I can't remember. Whatever
They
one
both make it.
Prince Nisse is
The
crushing.
It just makes me realize that when I was like, you can have these cards, someone, it was a mistake. Could have bought a very, very exceptionally nice steak with that from anywhere in the world. I could fly to the steak and have the steak.
Fly to the steak.
I'd fly to Elmo's.
All right, I got 2 meditations.
Woo!
3rd Golden Veil in the pocket.
Woo!
Bummer.
We're both down to 3 cards. This is a good old-fashioned stampede.
1 to horsies, 1 to snakies. And then we're going to summon an ancestor spirit.
You're setting up for the big downtown showdown.
May as well just keep it going. I'm not ready to trade the pieces yet, man. And draw a card. Put 1 on the bottom. Are you? How many anchor knots do you have? You sitting on a hand of 3 anchor knots? That anchor knot is riding those pale steeds. It's so good at that.
It really is. He's built for riding that steed.
Yeah, Cesar, it limited Netrunner is where it's at. I would be playing startup right now only if I were into the Nisei like scene. A scene kid, if you will.
I
declare
bankruptcy.
Right.
I'm gonna play Anchornaut.
Right on.
2 damage there.
Yeah, it is.
Then I'm a side action. Meditate.
Yikes.
It's rough. We're going Horseyville.
Ooh.
And then we're gonna meditate.
Ooh, yeah. Give me that. Ooh, yeah, that rosebud dancer. Hold me closer, rosebud dancer.
Go ahead.
Can you meet the man, my... 0-1. Nobody cares about that. Oh, it can ride stuff, though.
Yeah, sure can.
No way. Side action, I'm going to frog that Anchornaut.
I'm gonna react.
Uh-oh.
Shatter Pulse.
What do you do? What does it do?
I play a spell after a unit I control is destroyed. Destroy target unit.
This one.
You may change 2 dice in a player's pool besides your choice.
Wow. What an exchange.
I baited you.
And then I will
What did you do to do that?
Side action frog.
Mm.
That's why you don't main action on the bite. And then I'll butterfly monk in. And I will ice buff. Oh no, I already used my side action. So butterfly monk isn't. Over to you. Hello, David Whitfield. Such a clever person. Good morning, guys. Ashes to ashes, Steve to Zach. Just always a pleasure. Where are your dice? You're missing dice here. What are these?
I spent those.
Oh, okay. Good.
You're missing dice.
I was like, dude. Looking a little light.
I'll pass.
Passing completely, he says. That's interesting. Very, very interesting. You got a steady gaze?
You're about to find out.
Rhino in the pocket. We're going to do... Well, we got actually a good question as to how we're going to spin these boys. Uh-huh. Okay, do it like that. Or we could just not Rhino at all. Couldn't we? Yeah. Let's do this. Actually, that's not the sound Rhino makes.
They're not loud animals.
No.
Okay. Mine?
Mine. Yeah.
Mine? I will pass.
Okay. Figures in the fog again. You only have 2 in the discard pile. Come on. Come on.
The only thing that's for sure is nothing's for sure. Dan says, are you guys planning to attend Gen Con this year or any other cons that happen? Gen Con is tentatively in the books. We'll see how the world feels by September. It's a long way away. She's right. I'm with you on that one because I think this one's gonna be hard for Zach to pull off. It was well fought though.
I'm gonna swing at Jericho for 7.
Blot.
Okay. Great. Turned out. Do 7.
He's gone. I do
Take
2
2?
back to you, yeah. I take 2 here because overkill?
Yeah.
All right.
And then I'll side action to Ice Buff.
Yeah. Let's go Anchor Knot. We'll go ahead and do 1 here. We'll get him right back.
Pale Steed back into the party. Back into the party. Okay, I see that. I'll see that. You're a 2 damage attacker.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's do. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do. You got no dice, no funny business. You can do 2 back to me, unless there's a weird card I don't know about. Let's do Exhortation. And then swing for 8 at Jericho.
Surprised you didn't do that earlier.
I like to be surprising.
You were achieving that.
Don't get greedy in Ashes. #1 rule.
Yeah. I have to block.
Right on. Remove 1 from Rin. Mint.
I'll pass.
I will also pass.
You're on deck.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to take 1 because I'm going to not be able to draw 5.
Woo. Good news.
Not exactly ideal.
You must have 1 Figures in the Fog, right? No wolves. No wolves.
We've got the wolf.
Got the wolf, baby. And you know I don't have Golden Veil.
It's in the dig.
As the kids say. As a fella says. Okay, then. Swing. For 7.
Take it.
Oh, yeah. You only have 2 in there? Are you serious, Charlie Brown? I'm going to Frostbite next turn unless you got something crazy.
Let's see.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Do damage to Rhino.
All right.
Let's summon a horse. Dang it.
Well, you achieved horse status.
Yeah.
All right, Frostbite.
I'm dead. That's good.
That was something else, man. All right, let's talk about it.
Yep.
What do you think?
My turn 1 worked.
Yeah.
Then my turn 2 didn't. It was fine. One of my critical moments, I didn't realize that, not this one. Crescendo did a damage to me.
Yeah.
So I had that in my hand as well on the mid game. And so my plan was to clear your board and then unfocus my thing and get an extra 4 damage in.
2 health crushes it there.
And that ended up being a problem.
Yeah.
So it's a clever idea, but the health really isn't there. And I don't have the allies to, like I had the 1 health and the 1 health, but I can't put it there. So I'd have to have either the 4 health horse out or run something else.
Yeah. This is what you find. And anybody who's doing like deck tweaking or testing, this is exactly what it looks like. It's perfect. You've got effects that work really well with the concept, but then you're like, but the effects have a cost that this deck actually can't pay very effectively.
Yeah.
What's up with your spell board back there? You're literally just on horse?
I'm just on a horse. Well,
the man's just on a horse.
So the thing is, the ghostly mounts, the interesting thing, they cost 1 to put them into play, the spell.
Yeah.
So it's 3 dice just to start, get something out. Plus you have to have an ally out. So now we're on 4 dice and a card for the first use of this thing.
But this is a frog. But yeah, it costs you a card as well.
Yeah. And so even once you've already paid that cost and this is out, let's say you have 2 of them, to do that twice around, and you have to have the ally each time.
Yeah.
So like a lot of times it looks like this. So then if you're doing anything interesting with the like reactions and events in your hands, there's not a lot there.
Not a lot of dice left, is there?
The other thing that's kind of interesting is, at least my opening, let me find what I was doing.
Can you only have 1 horsey out?
One
horsey, basically, and the rest is just allies? Supporting allies
you can
and that kind of thing.
2, but you definitely can't run the other. Like I would rather summon 2 of these horses than 1 of the other horse. But I had this in my opening hand. Because you have to start with this and an ally.
You're on a lot of the 1 dice stuff that I was into with the Rhino too.
Yeah. And then I think I was on this was my opening. And so then it's like, well, do you pack your deck with spells? And if you do, I think it would have to be things that are like I play this and then it gets a token when this thing happens to use. Not like actively consuming dice spells, because there's too much stuff you're trying to do.
Yeah. What's Guilt Link? Aren't you in the Guilt Link pie?
Yeah. That's right here on this short stack.
What does that one do?
That's exactly the kind of spell I was talking about, which is you pay 1 to put it in, but then after 1 or more wounds are placed on your Phoenixborn, as a result of a unit attack, you put a status token on it, you can remove a status token. I have to destroy a unit I control, but you choose and destroy 1 of your units. The problem with it is that you usually have enough units that you just destroy. And like another problem is with Rhino specifically, sometimes destroying it is really good for you.
Yeah, true.
Like there were a lot of moments there. Like you either are going to focus it down or destroy it consistently. And I don't think this color pie has what it needs to consistently destroy you after you come out. So it has to focus you down, basically.
It has to use illusion as the control element.
Yeah. Yeah. It was much better.
That was a good game. I mean, it was a fun back and forth.
Yeah, but the mid game and how I'm making use of those spectral horses, I mean, I do think it is powerful to have a 4 attack with quick strike or a 4 life with unit guard.
Yeah.
Those are not bad units, but it's costly.
Do you get the sense that, so is Nightmare Mount actually even good enough to bother with? It's not.
I mean, it's fine. I think what it's for is if you can ever have 3 of them out.
Which is just Fairyland though, right?
I don't think that's true.
One of them's got 2 health. 2 health and ashes. You may as well take the card and put it out in the wind.
Well, the not Fairyland is the fact that they're all side actions. So that effectively, if you focus me down instead of destroy me, I have to have something else to put on the table. Because I can only have 1 of each of these. The other thing it's not Fairyland is if I actually do hit an accelerate, which I didn't, when it mattered. But again, the problem with even accelerate, my plan is that you need 2 allies out.
You just have to have higher health, low cost allies. Try to find some 2 health allies. I mean, that's really what we're into, isn't it?
That's the best
Otherwise,
you're
they're
gonna
too
do.
easy to just get rid of.
To ping away. And I have some of those, like Flute Mage is in here.
I love that ally. See, it feels a lot like you have. I mean, I guess it's interesting that the templates kind of form themselves. It feels a lot like you just have one main horse that you build around, either the Pale Steed mount with unit guard or the Spectral Charger.
Well, I think part
and
of
you just
that,
have the one spell and you don't focus it at all.
part of that is even having it focused is going to mean it can go away and it can come back. That's what I was doing there. It was the same one hit coming multiple times.
Yeah.
But more importantly is if you're not on nature, then you don't have the little direct damage bits. So then the charger mount's really good.
Yeah.
But if you are, the 4 health becomes a way better proposition. But when you're on nature, the problem with the unit guard is you can just ace my other stuff with your frogs.
Yeah.
If you don't have nature though, the unit guard is actually relevant at that point.
Definitely. It seems like casting multiple mounts is the most intensive thing you can do in the game when it comes to cards and dice.
I don't think that's realistic to think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you have to have 4 dice to do it.
And you gotta have that. You gotta play the ally again. Play the ally the first time. Play the ally the second time.
And even let's just say let's get into Fairy Tale Land for a second.
Let's go. Spin me a tale.
Let me find it. Maybe it's in my. So let's just say things are really going our way. So like summoning 2 horses is a 6 die proposition. At least.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's the reality of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the question is like, what are you doing with 6 dice? I like the flexibility here, but I'm not sure the events are correct.
Well, the other weird thing that you have to ask, and there are advantages of playing Anchornaut, doing a damage and then putting the mounts up. But what else, a 3-die unit, they're incredible. Like Beast Tamer is also a 3-die unit, just straight out of hand.
Yeah.
So like, what's the benefit? This is a 2-die unit, Beast Tamer, 2/3 that doesn't exhaust a block.
Yeah. So this could literally just be a good unit.
Yeah. So that's where it's like it's almost either it's a longer game or like there's important smaller stuff that you're protecting with this Pale Steed mount, and it's playing off the Anchornaut synergy, or there's some kind of a quick strike or buff your Spectral Charger strategy that like bypassing, I don't know, but quick strike's so weird because it's quick strike at 4 is a lot of times the least useful form of quick strike. It's a phenomenal answer to the Rhino in anything but Rin. Phenomenal answer, right?
Yeah.
Because you just side action and then kill it, which is wildly important. And in fact, a lot of the allies in the game at 4 health, you're going to be able to deal with that Spectral Charger at a 4 quick strike side action to cast.
Yeah.
That's going to wreck so many board states. So like this one particular thing, it's not, but this is good. I like the choice between the 2 mounts, and the Anchornaut is just so good.
Yeah.
But like having multiple spectral things out maybe is not feasible.
Well, another thing for me to consider too, and I'm gonna have to look at all the cards again, which I won't do right now. I'll probably just play Victoria.
In fact, that Spectral Charger is incredibly good.
It is super good.
Yeah. Because like Beast Mages and those big chunky allies that everyone brings, the polarity stuff.
I mean, this deals with a ton of problems.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, even if you do block with your Phoenixborn, you're taking 4.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Which is usually bad.
Yeah.
But I think you're making another point that's relevant. I love the Anchornaut. Starting with 1 Anchornaut's great. I may never need to. When I'm playing Anchornaut, I'm probably Anchornaut right into a horse.
Yeah.
But then it makes me, what I want to do is play beefier allies. So instead of a second horse, you just play a really good ally.
Yeah.
And now you have 2 problems to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't deal with this, maybe as an example, I'm not going to do it, but if I had Beast Tamer out,
you could.
It's like any unit that just freezes up your board. And then if I decide later in the turn I want to turn him into a horse, I can.
Yeah, definitely.
Are
there any bigger, like there's like those weird fire archers and stuff too that come into play, and like the bigger come into play effects?
Yeah,
They're
the
expensive
fire
is the
archer
problem.
destroys itself. So it's not really.
What's that one that does 2 when it comes in? Is that the Fire Archer?
Is it?
I think so. But it's like 3 dice and it's a 4/2. It comes in and does 2 damage or something. Or maybe it's a side action. So in exhaust probably, so that's not ideal.
Yeah.
Are there, I guess that's, yeah, you've probably done the search for allies that don't exhaust to do something, right?
That's where we came around to Anchornaut.
I do like at least like having a couple of 2 health allies or more on the board that can turn into horses when when I'm out of dice and I pass and you're like, okay, I'll do 4 damage.
Well, and they can turn into horses as a side action.
Yeah, so good.
So like that's the other thing that the Anchornaut is taking up is you have to use the action to play it and the side action to get the horse in.
Yeah.
But I think the strongest part of the horses is you can literally bring them out and immediately go.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with that.
Especially the Spectral Charger mount. And that's also the strength of the Nightmare mount. Because it's a 4 attack, 4 life that can't be blocked by anything with an attack value of 1 or less.
Yeah. So if they're down to a one attack unit, you just pop it on.
Or
do 4.
like that Crescendo.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if I already have the Spectral Charger out or anything, and then it's like, oh, here comes the Nightmare mount attacks. Get rid of the one thing you have that actually blocks. This is a problem.
Yeah, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, there's definitely, sticking with some form of the Spectral Charges is exciting. I dig it a lot.
But figuring out how to get it to work. And I think the other thing that I'm curious about is Jericho. Because I'm not really using her ability, and I think it's just play skill issues. But I think she can let me set up the turn 3, what's it called? And I need to be doing this. The accelerate on turn 3 into lots of like action. So I almost kind of want to go first, so that I'm going first on turn 3.
It's cool.
That's
Seems
where
important.
I might be with this.
Nick with the hot suggestion that we, of course, is always in play. It is a music note for the Raptor Herder that gives you 2 allies.
Which is great.
Yeah.
That's really
That's
great.
hard to resist.
Yeah.
And then even so, like, you put the Raptor Herder out and then you swing with 3 things. Obviously, your Raptor gets that 2 attack. And I feel like you can have, I think the next version of that deck, if I were guessing, is going to have a little bit more unit presence on the board.
Yeah. I agree. You wanna?
It's beautiful, man.
Oh, it's already 4.
Yeah, I'm good. We got that was a beautiful game, man. That was awesome. A good time with that.
That's crazy.
I like
that
the
was a
ones I win.
long form game.
Yeah, that was real. But we talked so much about the plays and what was going on and all that. So that was fun.
I thought it was 3 o'clock. Woo! And it is an hour later.
Oh, welcome to London, fam.
That was great. I'm gonna keep tweaking, and we're gonna keep playing. And we have nothing but time.
This game is so good, guys. I know many of you probably have cards and maybe have organized, but haven't gotten a play group together, or haven't gotten some opportunities to do that. First of all, just know that it's great. It's worth your time. It's so good.
That's right. And
really in love with this one.
That webcam league.
And then secondary, webcam league. And so you can participate in the league. That's going to get you promos and a guaranteed match and all those kinds of things. You can hang out on Wednesday nights in the Discord and just get pickup games after the league games have ended, or you find people who got paired with somebody, that person didn't show up. 8:15 rolls around and roll's been called, and then there's people that are just like, well, I'm here for a game. Does anybody want one? So even if you're not in the league, being around on Wednesday nights in the Ashes Discord, on the Covenant Discord Ashes channel, great way to find some games. And you can always look for pickup games there too with webcam anytime. There's people all the time on the Ashes channel, the Discord.
There's also a looking for a game channel.
Looking for a group, looking for game, whatever. There's a channel for that, so you can utilize that. There's also the official Ashes Discord, and there's also First 5 Fridays, which is a great initiative by a good number of Ashes players. There's also an international league, I think, that goes on in some kind of an online format, maybe Ash Techie or something. So no matter what it is, our favorite is webcam, and it's a real hurdle. It feels like a real hurdle to jump at the very beginning of the process, whether it's buying like a webcam, like a $50 webcam, or finding an app that lets your phone use it as a webcam. But really, it's just about it's kind of awkward to set up in my house somewhere and feel like I've got to be on camera and somebody else is going to be on the other side of this and whatnot. You do it once and all that immediately goes away.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, this is great.
And
yeah,
a lot of
people,
cool. That on that note, and there's some questions coming through. A lot of people, for Fab at least, have the camera where you're only seeing the table. So if you don't want someone up in your seeing your background, your
True,
house and stuff,
true.
you don't have to. And a lot of people wear headphones, so you can really only hear the other person. They can only hear you if you have the audio going through the headphones or whatever. Justin asking if we have a video that shows how we have our webcam set up. We don't, but there's a ton of videos online. Someone linked in our Discord today a video of how they set up for webcam games. Very helpful stuff on how to get all that going.
I feel like something Ryan.
I don't know who shared the link, but someone shared a link to a video that was really, really helpful. And then Oxfordor asking, how long to maybe sign up for the league that you have. So the earliest we'll charge for leagues is 2 weeks before they start, and that 2-week point is next Wednesday. Doesn't mean we're going to charge on Wednesday, but you'll know when it says I guess June 2nd is the next.
The upcoming says June 2nd. When it flips to 3 months from then,
so
you'll know
it'll
it's already
flip
happened.
to September something because it's a 3-month league. You'll know it's too late. So if you want to sign up, you can do that now, and I recommend it. And then we're gonna get started. It's gonna be a good time. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone hanging out. Fab's been really fun on Tuesday night, so we'll fill the house on Wednesdays, and it'll be fun. It'll be a good time.
Pretty soon we'll have one every day of the week, and then it'll just be the bumpin' party. It'll be like
the
a local
bumpin'
store
Discord.
online. That's the idea. Thank you guys so much for watching and for joining us here. If you want to get on board on all future Ashes releases, of course, the way to do that is through our subscription. We partner with Plaid Hat and the PDP system that we made for this game, where the game will continue getting printed as long as there's enough subscribers that are getting new products. So that's the way to support the game most fully. We'd love to have you as a subscriber, and we will see you next week, or maybe week after, or maybe week after that. We do the schedule on Fridays, so you never know. And we'll talk to you then. Take care, everyone, and Awkward out.